That's my baby. I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What's going on, fam? Thursday night, Birds of a Feather coming at you live on A2DRadio.com on a dark day in Philadelphia sports history. We're going to talk about it tonight. Carson Wentz officially traded from the Philadelphia Eagles to the Colts. So, tough one, guys, and we're going to talk about it tonight. We got our regular panel here, Chucks, Big Dad, Jeff. Pete's going to be hopping on. Happy to welcome Rob Brinkman from the Sports Hounds. Monday nights here on A2DRadio.com. First and foremost, let's show some love to the sponsors. Specialized Physical Therapy. You can find them in Burlington, Cherry Hill, Princeton, New Jersey. Find them on the web at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. No appointment necessary. Doc Paul Vidal, he's our boy. And if you guys have anything, especially you athletes out there, aches, pains, issues like that, make sure you check them out and take care of your recovery. And also right now, tough time for people. Tough time for us right now, but tough time, mental health and addiction issues, major issue in this country, and we're happy to support the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. Rob Lutman, member of the family here, doing amazing work over there, and we wouldn't put you in bad hands. So if yourself or anybody you know needs to reach out to this is the place to go. Dial the number 856-651-8117. Again, 856-651-8117, the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. Our topic of conversation tonight, guys, it's sad. Again, Carson Wentz getting moved. Officially, it's brought to you by Body Check Wellness. Use the promo code A2D at bodycheckwellness.com. You're going to get 20% off. And hey, by the way, when Riley Cote joins the guys at the Hockey Happy Hour, they have a package that they sell, that specific package, 40% off. And I can tell you, top-notch stuff, all natural stuff. Big Dad can attest to it over here. So make sure you guys are checking them out again, bodycheckwellness.com. Our topic of conversation, Carson Wentz. The poll question tonight, Carson Wentz saga is the biggest organizational failure in Philadelphia sports history. Agree, disagree? So wherever you're joining us, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, what am I missing here? I think I got them all. Make sure you guys, Facebook, dummy. Wherever you guys are at, make sure you guys are commenting in. We want to hear from you, the fam. We want all the good, bad, and indifferent. But guys, moments here. We've been talking about it for weeks and weeks, and we talked about how it was Groundhog Day. Well, we finally had that moment. Andy McDowell at the end remembered us the next morning, and we had the trade. So I want to get everybody's reaction. You guys had a great show earlier today with instant reaction. Now that we've had some time to sit back and a few hours to think about it, I'm going to be curious if you two gentlemen, specifically Tom and Brinkman, have a little bit more, or you've had some time to let it marinate, and for us too as well. For me, guys, absolutely the biggest organizational failure in the history of Philadelphia sports. It should have never gotten to here. And for people who believe that this started in 2020, you're absolutely freaking clueless. The writing is on the wall. This guy has been put behind the eight ball from day one. It started a lot really around the Nick Foles time and everything after 2017. But I'm speechless. You know, I know we knew it was coming, but when the day comes, you just don't know how to feel and how to react. And I still feel that way. You know, and we talked about the last couple of weeks. There's always controversy in this city. There's not going to be a controversy that's going to go away here. And when I look at this and I see this situation, to treat your franchise quarterback, a bona fide franchise, doesn't matter if he's a top 5 quarterback. He is a bona fide franchise quarterback who's proven to be a franchise quarterback in this league. To trade this guy, and really, guys, for me, the tipping point really did. There were signs there of dissension, but to me, the tipping point was the Jalen Hurts draft pick. That was Jeffrey Lurie's decision to do that, and that's because he's an egomaniacal jackass who still to this day can't get over that they missed out on Russell Wilson. For some reason, he looks at Jalen, and this is not a knock to Jalen Hurts, by the way, but he looked at Jalen Hurts, a guy who's a 3rd or 4th round draft grade, and said, I have to get him now 2 rounds ahead of time and go get him now because he's going to be my reprieve for Russell Wilson and missing out on Russell Wilson. And by doing that, you sacrificed, for no reason of his own, your franchise quarterback. You threw him under the bus, and then you scapegoated him all year and made him the issues. And I am not a person who has let Carson off the hook all year. Tom can vouch for that. All these guys on here can. But the bottom line is he was your franchise quarterback. He was the guy who should be under center going into 2021. And it's a disgrace the way it unfolded. It's a disgrace the way it has during the offseason. And I'm sickened by it. I'll be honest with you. I'm absolutely sickened by what I've seen and how this has gone down. They vilified a guy who is going to be looked at, who has no reason to be looked at as a villain in this city. They have managed to change the narrative and create a villain in this city. And isn't it convenient now that John Clark puts out a tweet that says, after everything's done now, it's, oh, things were civil. And this, not all the bullshit we've been hearing for the last year, all of a sudden, conveniently hours after, we got to do damage control with the media now. Things were civil. Carson, there was drama-free. Carson didn't have it, he made it very easy. He didn't dictate where he wanted to go. Very convenient. It's a disgrace, and the issues are not going away here. And it's not, Howie's a big problem, but he's not the biggest problem. I've said it before, and I will say it again. It's the head of the snake who has nobody above him to hold him accountable. It's Jeffrey Lurie. He's an absolute bum of an owner who is buying into his own goddamn hype, and I'm sick of it. And I'll tell you what, I'm never as much of an asshole as Jerry Jones is and how he meddles. I have no leg to stand on now when it comes to criticizing him, because this owner made the ultimate move that burned it all to the ground very, very quickly. Whoever wants to go, you're welcome to jump in. I can't hear Chuck.
Your mic's off.
Sorry, forgot.
I thought maybe it was just me because sometimes when I have the headset, I can't hear.
Yeah, I did. Well, welcome, Brinkman, to Birds of Feather first and foremost. Gentlemen, it's good to see you. It's tough to. I've said to you on the chat earlier today, shortly after the news broke. I'm not as fired up about it because I've already been preparing for this for the past week or so, to the point where when you talk about stages of grief, I'm already at acceptance. So I already accepted. I was not prepared, but it was more of I'm not surprised anymore that we got the return that we got, and then he's gone. Donovan, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Donovan. Always dropping in, taking care of the fam. We love you, brother.
Yeah, so thank you so much. For the poll question first, I will say that I agree, and I've been thinking about it all day when we decided what the poll question would be. I've been trying to think of different scenarios in Philly sports from the Flyers. Lindros saga was, and I'm trying to talk from my experience because, I was born in 86, and so I don't really have much recollection from anything before that, obviously. But, you talk about the Lindros saga, that was huge. With the Sixers, you've got the Andrew Bynum thing. You got the Markelle Fultz thing. I obviously don't follow baseball, so I'm not going to talk about anything with Phillies.
Ryan Sandberg. There's been –
there's
hard to fault him. He was a throw, and he was a minor legger. But still, in the end, it was a big,
big
thing.
There's a lot. And I'm trying to think, but there's really my friend. I asked my one friend, and he said that the whole debacle with the Buddy Ryan Eagles and the fact that they had so much talent on defense, but they never made the playoffs. He said he would probably put that as an argument as one of the biggest organizational failures as well. But I can't speak to that. I was too young. I can't, from personal experience, I can't remember a bigger organizational failure than this, because you're talking about a guy who they traded up for in the second or in the first round. number 2 overall pick. They made several trades to get up there. They had him on their roster, and he was an MVP candidate. He was going to be the MVP in 2017. And you're talking about the guy that was going to be the new face of the NFL. And then obviously with Patrick Mahomes came in a year later, but you're talking about Wentz, who was going to be part of that future of the NFL. Ever since the Super Bowl win, though, it's been downhill for numerous reasons. Whether it's the reluctance to get rid of Foles, whether it's rushing Wentz back, or the Hurts pick now, like last year. It's a lot of different things. And when you just think about where they were, and they even gave Wentz that contract. They gave him the long-term contract. When you factor all of that, it's really tough to find anything else in the history of Philly sports where you go from that high in 2017, that high to now this, to where we're trading him for a conditional second and a third round pick. That's such a huge fall. And yes, some of it was on Carson, and I've said for months on here, I sound like a broken record now. There are numerous people to blame when you talk about how the Eagles got to where they were. It's not just one person. It's not even just two people. It's everyone. Everyone deserves blame, from Lori to Howie to Doug to Jim Schwartz to Carson to the other players. Everyone. So in no way am I absolving Wentz of any blame for the downfall. But, man, it starts with Howie and Lori, and it's really, really difficult for me to say, hey, this is one of the darkest moments in Philly history in terms of how we failed a player. We talked about we've always had this reputation of Philly driving stars out of the city. Well, this might be now the cream of the crop. This might be the top one we're talking about. So I agree to the poll. And we'll get in. I'm sure we'll talk about what we think about the return of the trade, our thoughts on that. But yeah, in terms of the poll question, I would agree this is the biggest and most embarrassing organizational failure in Philly sports history.
Good, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll say I agree with all your points, but I'll say when it comes to the poll question, I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to disagree. And the only reason I'm disagreeing, because we ended up with the Super Bowl in the end. I'll say everyone keeps on talking about before we won that Super Bowl is, I just want to witness one Super Bowl in my lifetime. We can suck for the next 5-10 years. I don't care. And now I would say everyone is turning back on that because we want more and we had high expectations. And I get that. And Carson is a tremendous talent, and I hate to see him go. I've honestly felt that it should never came to this. And I would say that they're somewhat siding with the wrong person. I would say Howie should have been the one and they should have somehow fix it with Carson. But ultimately, there was no repairing that relationship. I would say we've been bringing it up week in and week out. I would say they had to make the move to move on from Carson Wentz. There was no going back from as when they started listing the trade offers. But in the end, we got a Super Bowl, and it's because of Carson. I don't feel people are turning on Carson and that they hate Carson at this moment, because they know that he's not the guy that's making the decisions, and he's not the one that ended up this happening. They know it's Jeffrey. They know it's Howie. So I would say Carson has a huge contribution to that Super Bowl run, and I would say because of him, he helped us get that Super Bowl. So to the poll question, was the Carson Wentz getting Carson Wentz bad? It ended up not. I would say it should never turn out the way it did.
I will say that what Jeff just said, is it's not our fault, right? Like we don't make those draft choices. So for us to sit home and say, well, we never saw one, and all we need is just one Super Bowl, and we'll stink for 5 years. That's not our fault.
I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for that. Like I
I'm
said,
not saying everyone, but you listen to sports talk radio, and everyone just says, "I just want one in my lifetime. I don't care if we're a bad football team. I just want one."
And then those are the same people though. The next year that were coming out saying Nick
We need
Foles is
more.
going to get us back there. Let's keep Nick Foles and trade Carson Wentz. Exact same people. You know what I mean, Jeff?
Yep.
Yeah, there are people out there that definitely signed up for that though. I mean, I heard it. But you can't blame that on us. And there's one guy still standing out of this whole mess from the Super Bowl, and that's the guy who's been making, player personnel decisions for the last however many years, right? So yes, this is a huge organizational failure. 20 months ago, they gave him $128 million. Okay, Chuck was saying the biggest fall from grace in Philly sports. Shit, screw Philly sports. This is the biggest fall from grace and organizational failure that I've seen in professional sports in the last 20 years. Okay, nobody gives people this kind of money, and 20 months later they're saying, you know what, we're going to move on from them. I mean, this is why it's the biggest NFL dead cap hit of all time. You don't even see this in baseball and other sports where they can get rid of the money. You don't see this as much, right? This is an organizational failure at the highest level. And you don't see this anywhere else. Look around pro sports. Look what teams invest early on guys like the Eagles did for Carson Wentz and give up all them assets. Then you see it around other sports. They hold on to them guys for longer because they want to be proven right as an exec, right? Well, here, and I say to Kareem, I know you say speculation, but they got caught with their pants down in this whole situation. They thought they could dangle the goddamn carrot and there'd be no consequences from 11 for it. Well, guess what? He was already sick of Howie Roseman and the shit that's been going on here since the Jalen Hurts draft night. Okay, so they figured they could dangle the carrot out and see what they can get, especially after the Stafford thing. They leak reports day after day after day after day. And then finally, they're realizing the phone isn't calling a ton for the guy. The Bears back out on the deal. And now they're forced to have to take this deal, which is not good enough. It's never going to be okay. It's never going to be good enough. You didn't even recoup what you gave up to get them. You didn't even recoup that. So this is the biggest organizational failure in Philly sports, period. And I'll date it to freaking 1920. All right. Whenever things got rolling around here, I'll date it all the way back because I guarantee there's been nothing as inept, right?
Babe Ruth.
And as much of a mind fuck as I've dealt with when it's come to the Philadelphia Eagles, and we all have over the last 3 years. And this is the bed we made. Not us, but it's the bed we made and we move on. So I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you go that far back, maybe Babe Ruth being sold to the Red Sox, obviously. But no, I mean, to your
in that, baby.
Yeah, to your
had
credit,
to get that
right?
play going.
To your credit, Tom, right? I mean, we're starting to see these big contracts early on get moved. And in baseball, we saw Francisco Lindor and Nolan Arenado are two prime examples of that, right? But the difference here is the dead cap hit. Because you don't have that kind of consequence. I mean, there's luxury tax implications and shit like that, but it's nothing like a 30-some million dollar dead cap hit. And you're going to be dealing with this for the next 2 years to move on from a guy that you don't need to move on from. You shouldn't have had to move on from. I think obviously you had to, but with the way that the relationship got to, but it should have never got to that point. So to your point, no, you're absolutely right. I would say maybe the last 20 years, in all of sports, I can't think of one. I think that's a fair point. And Brinks, I know you mentioned a lot of really good points earlier too in regards to all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, as far as organizational failure goes, I mean, this is up there. As far as Philly sports go, I mean, Lindros was a train wreck, but Lindros, I mean, his brain was unfortunately, he was just too injured. He had too many concussions. He had too many injuries. Carson Wentz still got a lot of good football to play, and Indianapolis is going to figure that out rather quickly. J.D. Drew was a fiasco, but he was unproven and didn't turn out to be that great anyway. Scott Rowland was a train wreck, which, I mean, whatever. I mean, some people think Scott Rowland's a Hall of Famer. I think that's an insult to the Hall of Fame.
I'd love to have that conversation with you one day, though.
Okay, we can. Is this the part of the show where you can go and tell me that Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, a two-player team is going to be good next year?
Oh, they have more than two players. Do your homework on the St. Louis Cardinals, homeboy, and then you can talk about them. You don't know nothing about them. And my conversation is not about Scott Rowland. It's about the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. I have a lot of gripes, and it's way beyond those.
Well, Hall of Fames are a joke. We do 3 hours on how Hall of Fames are a joke.
Major League Baseball is the only Hall of Fame that doesn't honor defense, which, by the way, propels pitchers to get into the fucking Hall of Fame. But
yeah, and the NFL and the NFL Hall of Fame, T.O. not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, go to bed. I'm done. I'm done with you. Right. But organizational failures. I mean,
that's
Iverson
another one, Rob. T.O. was a catastrophe.
Yeah,
but T.O. and his agent Drew Rosenhaus brought a lot of his problems on himself, and I love T.O. He's my favorite football player of all time. That's my favorite team of all time, with respect to the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles. The 2004 Eagles were that team. That team was the shit. T.O. was the shit. The fact that they lost because McNabb was yakking his guts all over the field is beyond me. But this is a huge organizational failure. Colts are going to find out pretty quick how dumb the Eagles are. I mean, a third and a second, and like maybe it gets to be a first, which it's going to be. It's going to be a first. The Colts are going to be a really good football team next year. They just are. They're going to get a 3 and a 1. Not that they're going to know what to do with the picks because Howie Roseman stinks. But I mean, I said it before we went on the air. Like, I mean, you can only laugh at this point. Like, I was angry earlier. Chuck's talked about the stages of grief. Like, I went through all 4 of them at 1:30. Now I'm just like depressed and sad, and nothing good is ever going to happen to the Eagles ever again. It's a sad day. And then my Carson Wentz, my white 11, which has an outstanding win-loss record, by the way, now obsolete. I had a closet full of jerseys; they're obsolete. So it's just not. I don't even know where to go. But like, if you look forward, like, I'd be very surprised if Jason Kelsey's on this football team week 1. I'd be very surprised if Zach Ertz is on this football team week 1. Fletcher Cox, Darius Slay. This thing's about to get gutted, fellas. If they win 4 games next year, I'll be shocked. Huge organizational failure.
I agree with you, Rob. It's an absolute catastrophe of everything that went down, and the fact that Howie Roseman is still there, being the guy to do the rebuild. Because the fact that we're at this point, we're doing a rebuild, and the same general manager
he's good at the cap, Cromer. He's good at the cap.
It's disgraceful.
Because we got a $33.8 million dead cap, the biggest in history, and we're $50 million over. I think only the Saints are more over because they've just been spending out the wazoo because they've been in win now mode forever because they know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, and to your point too, when you look around the league and you see, when you look at a lot of these teams and the quarterbacks, right? And this is what drives me insane: the fact that people in this city act like franchise quarterbacks grow on trees. Because we were fortunate enough to have number 5. Who, Rob, he might have been yakking his guts up on the field.
Great player.
A lot of teams would take a number 5 for the stretch that we had him in his prime. And again, we look at teams like the New York Jets, who haven't had a franchise quarterback probably since fucking Boomer. Or we haven't had Miami hasn't had a quarterback since Marino in '99. Joe Burrow looks like he's finally the guy for the Bengals. I mean, they did have Carson Palmer, but you just look at so many of these teams around the league who have gone literally an entire generation, technically a generation without a franchise quarterback. And we had two in close proximity. And you had a damn good quarterback in Mike Vick who kind of bridged a lot of that as well, by the way. You like the luxury of the quarterback position in this city has made this city so arrogant that we all know about quarterbacks. That we can sit there and we can pick out a guy and peg a guy from day one. The same city that fucking booed McNabb out of a building. That we allow this to go on. And you're going to find out real quick how hard it is to have a franchise quarterback. And by the way, a pretty damn good guy on top of it, okay? At least with 5, I can understand that at times he didn't endear himself.
Right, he's corny.
He's a pretty damn good human being, too.
No,
and he's vilified in this city.
Careful.
You don't know anything. You don't know anything about him.
I mean, careful, because you're talking about good guys. I mean, this is all I hear about Jalen Hurts. How he's a great guy, great teammate, great locker room guy. That translates to us going to win games. All right. I'm done with the whole thing. I don't even want to be an Eagles fan anymore. I'm at the point where because of this fan base, okay, because of the media locally here, I don't even want to be a fan anymore because we're going to do the same thing we just did to 11 to the next guy up, and we already did it today. We already came out and said, well, there's going to be competition there. So we're going to go find somebody to compete. So we're already in his head now. Now, maybe it doesn't get in his head, but they're going to do the same thing over and over and over again because they think this is how business works, right? They think because you don't want too much loyalty gets you in a bad place, that they think they're so smart that they can draft the guy's replacement 2 or 3 years early and it's never going to bite him in the ass. But it just so happened that this one bit him in the ass. I'm over the whole thing. I mean, we're going to watch a gadget guy run around, get beat up, throw for 52%, have no zip on the football, and there's actually idiots out there that say, well, can his arm get stronger? What, dude? What are you talking about?
Couldn't even hold the job in college, and he's a franchise quarterback.
Such a bad.
I mean, look, I like the kid. I mean, he seems like a good guy, but I mean, can anybody on this panel sit here, look me dead in the eye, and tell me Jalen Hurts is a franchise quarterback?
No, that's the thing. Like with
Thanks,
Hurts,
Donovan.
Yeah, thanks again, Donovan. You're all.
I disagree, but thank you.
No one can say that for sure, and it's a lot of people are really quick right now to be like Hurts is the future. Like it's not that simple. I mean,
they've been spoiled.
I'm not going to sit here and say it's impossible for Hurts to become a great QB. Like we really don't know. Like it depends on the coaching staff. It depends on Hurts and a lot of other things. I mean, if Hurts can be more disciplined in the pocket and if he can choose to stay in more, that'll help a lot. So I can't. That's on Hurts. I can't predict and guarantee anything.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can come out right now and say, stand on a goddamn hill right now.
I'm not.
Stand on the hill.
I like rooting for Hurts because he's a good kid and he's a hard worker, easy to like. So I'm gonna root for him. I'm gonna hope and pray every single day that he turns out to be a great quarterback. But that's what my heart says. My mind, though, is going to tell me there are a lot of flaws to his game, and I'm skeptical. And I think that's a fair position to take when you talk about, like, you can root for the guy, but I'm not going to go as far as some other fans who are like, he's going to be it. He's going to be it. You're ignoring the fact that this guy in this 4 starts, and granted, he's a rookie, and he came in and was surrounded with a bad team and a bad coach, and I get it.
Thrown into the fire.
But at the same time, he still fumbled a lot. He still had a horrible completion percentage. He still escaped and ran out of the pocket way too long. He had inconsistent accuracy. There's a bunch of things that we've talked about. So
he looked like a rookie.
I can't. Jeff, I just freaking said that. So
I was saying we know that. We know what Hurts is. And
a lot of people don't. That's what I'm saying. Some people don't. Some people make excuses for him and say that, like he lit it up. He had poise. Like he was great. Like they always talk about, he provided a spark. How long did that spark last? It lasted what? A game and a half?
When they have poise.
Well, you saw what happened against the Cowboys. They figured him out. So now it's on Hurts and the coach to figure out how to get Hurts to be a better quarterback. So I can't guarantee that's going to happen or not. I'm not picking a side. I'm not saying Hurts can't be that. I'm saying literally so far from what we've seen, we just don't know. So
And that's the thing. I would say everyone wants to throw Hurts and already give up on him before he's given the chance to. The one thing that Doug, I would say we have known from Doug, he wasn't a great teacher. This Eagles coaching staff over the past couple of years, they do not know how to develop talent, which the one thing I would say that we consistently hear about Sirianni is that he's a teacher of the game and he's a guy that can help develop talent. So hopefully I would say he can step in there and help Hurts develop hopefully into that quarterback. I would say I don't know if he's the franchise quarterback, but he's going to be your starting quarterback for 2021. Because I'll say that first round pick, I'll say that they're going to have in 2022. That's going to play a big effect into what they do with the franchise when it comes to the quarterback position between their first round pick and their second first round pick in 2022.
Well, how about this? I see that nobody wants to stand on the hill, right? Because
I'll stand with you, Dad.
Because if he is still, and everybody wants to say, well, I wasn't one way or the other on it. I'll say because I watched the kid play for 4 years, and I watched him play 4 games at the National Football League, and he was everything that I knew he was going to struggle with. Okay? Everything I saw in college, he struggled with at the next level. I don't give a fuck if you go get Bill Walsh off out of the grave for this guy. He is not ever going to be a top 15 NFL quarterback. It's never going to happen. And anybody that thinks it is, or even has a chance to, just hasn't watched him play long enough. I mean, I watched a kid play in college. He's been a one-look read from day one. So then, okay, Lincoln Riley's a great teacher too. He was still a one-look and read guy at Oklahoma. Nothing changed. He's gotten away with his legs since day one. And a lot of guys who get away with their legs in college have a hard time putting that away when they get to the next level, right? Like Lamar, etc. So, I mean, yes, can great coaches make him a little bit better? Maybe, because he's young enough to be developed, but you're not changing his arm strength. You're not changing his decision-making, like his feel, what he's used to. Like, that's not going to happen that quick. If he wants to be a pocket passer, then so be it. But first off, he didn't get drafted to stay in the pocket. So this is like, we're going to do this game to Jalen Hurts too. Like, well, sit in the pocket and throw. That's not who he is. It's like, it's never been who he is.
And that's Sirianni's job, which he says he's going to adapt to his player's strengths. So hopefully he's looking at tape and knowing, hey, this is what Hurts is good at. This is what he's bad at, and game plan well enough to make sure that he excels with those strengths. Something that Doug did not do while he was here with Hurts last year.
Yeah, well, in Doug's fairness, I mean, Doug didn't even have Hurts any OTAs, any all-season workouts.
Exactly.
So,
which is still a question mark this year, because I would say you don't know, at least for mini camps, they don't know if they're going to have full-on padded mini camps. Training camps should be fine by then, but it's still going to be a weird off season.
Hey, and now you got to get a new scheme in too, right, Jeff? So with a young quarterback, and listen, I agree with you guys though. Like, I want him to be good. Like, I'm an Eagles fan. Like, I'm not rooting against them. I'm just going off what my eyes have told me since the night we drafted Jalen Hurts. I stood on that hill about it.
That's what I'm saying too. It's just like I'm rooting for the guy because he's a likable guy. Like he's a hard worker. You love to see a kid like that with the leadership and work ethic. You love to root for those type of guys. But then again, like, and I'm not comparing these two. I know people are gonna jump out their seats when I compare them, but like Tim Tebow was a guy that was easy to root for, but he didn't have the talent. He just doesn't. And Hurts is a better QB than Tebow ever was.
Yeah.
But Hurts, in terms of, I still, and I've said this over and over for months, he has done nothing to dispel my pre-draft concerns when it comes to him. Nothing. He did the same flaws and deficiencies I see from Ertz. I still have question marks about them. So until those prove me wrong, like he proves me wrong about them, I'm still not going to believe he is the franchise QB. But if you want, does he deserve a chance, or should he get an opportunity this season? Yeah, like give him the opportunity. We're rebuilding. We've got nothing, so we might as well get him some players in the draft and see what he can do in 2021, and then go from there. And so like I think he has tools, but I can't be sold on him as a franchise QB. Not yet. Not from what we've seen so far. And Tom, you say you watched him in 4 years in college. I totally hear you on that. And I don't watch college ball, so I don't have that watching pedigree in terms of like I haven't watched him for 4 years. But how much like when it comes to the draft, I study these guys like endlessly. So I've watched so much of his tape from college, and I'm right there with you. I hear what you're saying. It's really tough for these running QBs to get out of that mindset of, okay, like first read, okay, I can't tuck and run. Like he has that ingrained in his head, also because of what he does best. So that it's tough to get him out of that. And then Jeff, to your point, like I know you're talking about Sirianni molding his offense to player strengths, and we can only hope he does so. But
hopefully,
there's also two things. we don't know because Reich and Sirianni have always had pocket passers. So their systems have always been around pocket passers, not running QBs. Now, if he does change his system to have Hurts run more, my concern about that is what Super Bowl has there been a Super Bowl winning quarterback who has won because of a system that's run first? The Niners and Kaepernick didn't do it. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens haven't done it. Cam Newton and the Panthers didn't do it. A scheme that's a run first scheme for a QB hasn't proven to be something that can win a Super Bowl. And until it does, I'm going to be skeptical of it. So I don't want Sirianni to go to a type of read option, type of offense, because I don't believe in those type of offense. I think you can incorporate it here and there. I think it has certain spots, but to base your whole system around that, I don't believe in that. So I hope that's not the case.
Before we go again, guys, we have 110 people watching on the tube, 30 plus people watching over on Facebook. Guys, like, subscribe. You don't even like what you're hearing, just do something on there. But 22 likes, 110 people watching. Like, subscribe, and we want your comments to keep popping in. I love Bill. Bill, this is the same old narrative that you put out there every week.
This comment's nonsense.
It's just take it.
Nonsense.
That comment's ridiculous.
What do you want me to do, Bill? What do you want me to do? You want me to lie to you, Bill? You want me to come on here and tell you
that's exactly what he wants.
That you know what, Bill? Everything's rainbows and blowjobs and everything's going to be fine. And we're going to win 12 games next year. And J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, your son, is going to break out and have 14 TD
Right,
catches.
the same guy
the
who
greatest
was
red zone
tooting the
target.
horn for J-Jaw over here.
Oh, we get a J-Jaw? Middlebrook's a J-Jaw guy?
Big time. Big time.
I guess he's
I
the
love
one.
it.
He's
I
the
love
one.
Bill.
Guaranteed J-Jaw would get
I do love it, Bill.
8 TDs that rookie year.
I'm starting to think that Bill's got fucking Howie's burner account over here.
But what
Listen,
do you Go ahead.
No, I say this, Tom, I'll stand on the hill with you. And why? Chucks, I don't mind taking a bullet and being wrong about it, okay? I could stand up here and I could be wrong about it. And if somebody wants to criticize me for stating facts like Tom is, that's fine. I want to be proven wrong. I've never had a problem eating a big bowl of fucking bullshit. I'm totally fine with it. I've never have a problem admitting, hey, I was wrong about this guy. But I'm not afraid to take a stand on it. And looking at this kid, absolutely. He has everything that you want to cheer for. He has the work ethic. He has the personality. And yes, that's even more encouraging, the fact that these guys want to play better for him, that he motivates them. But at the end of the day, you still have to have the talent on the field. And at best, he is a major project that's going to take years to develop. Which, guess what? If you're taking years to develop your quarterback, all these people out here saying 2-3 year rebuild, I'm telling you right now, you're looking at a 5 to 10 year rebuild with the way that this organization is set up right now. Mm-hmm. And I know you hate me for saying it, Tom. I say it because I actually truly believe it. Not that he's somebody I want, but I could see them taking Justin Fields. And at the end of the day, I would feel more confident putting the work or putting the effort behind him to develop him and turning this around faster than I would with Jalen Hurts. That said, we shouldn't even have to talk about having a quarterback to develop at this point. We should be going in with Carson Wentz and having the 6th pick and worrying about other positions. You know, we talked about Surtain. We talked about wide receivers. We talked about offensive linemen. And now immediately we're back into another quarterback thing. Who are we going to sign? Who's the veteran are they going to sign? Are they going to draft a quarterback? I told you, the controversy and distractions never leave. When you get rid of a franchise quarterback, people think that it gets better. No, it gets worse because you have more uncertainty at a position, the most important position on the field. And now you don't know if you're going to have Hurts, a veteran, another rookie to come in and compete with them. You might have all three. It's a clusterfuck. It's an absolute mess.
Chrome, I don't have any problem being wrong. I mean, I was wrong saying he wasn't going to get traded because of the cap hit. I didn't think that was realistic. Like I didn't think it was either. I really didn't think they were going to eat that money and say they were wrong. I just didn't believe that they were ever going to admit that they were wrong. I thought it was a lot of smoke and mirrors to see what they could get. Right? I didn't think they were really trying to trade him until he probably came to them and said, well, I've already known his agents wanted him out of here. So that's already been stated. They've been trying to get him out since the end of this season. All right. So a lot of this is them leaking stuff too to try to get him out. So it was a combination of both sides leaking. And I didn't know how. I mean, listen, by what everybody's saying about Carson's smile, he's obviously extremely excited. You know why? Because he doesn't have to deal with the bullshit media in this city anymore. Doesn't have to deal with a nerd of a GM and an unloyal owner who thinks his shit don't stink. So you know what? I'd be happy to go team up with Frank again. And for everybody telling me he's not gonna have a good year next year, I will you can book this, take it to Vegas. He's gonna be a top 10 quarterback in every statistical category there is next year. And the Indianapolis Colts will be playing in an AFC title game. And you know what? I'll go a step further because this is Philly. They'll be playing in a goddamn Super Bowl. Okay? Yep. In the next 2 years, write it down.
Listen, I'm just going to say this, and Bill knows I love him. Bill, I'm not even going to acknowledge the comments anymore. When you're going to sit here, I don't want to hear your town evaluations when every person you've presented to us that's come out of the draft has been absolute dog shit. So you can I want you to keep commenting them, but if you think I'm going to sit here
pussy schedule in 2017. I'm not going to get into
if you think I'm going to get into a back and forth with you, we're going to get into a back and forth with this absolute lazy narrative nonsense, bro. It's not going to happen. Bring us something with substance instead of this bullshit, and then we'll have a conversation.
This guy really say,
don't even bother. Don't even.
He was so bad. He was so bad in 16, and we got a pussy schedule in 2000. Yeah, they won every game by 80 points in 2017. Yeah. Great when he won some games. Oh, he was an MVP. Yeah, I don't acknowledge Todd Gurley or Adrian Peterson or Tom Brady, whoever the fuck won that MVP award in 2017. They didn't win it. Carson Wentz did. Even in 13 games, he should have been the MVP. Can we go? Sorry, whoever's producing, can we go back to Bill's comment?
So,
thank you. Not saying I like Hurts, but you guys are doing exactly what fans did to Carson to him. Yes, we got fleeced, but they took the biggest cap hit in history because he wanted out, period, or he'd be here. Now he'll be talking.
And I said this to my friend earlier. Whose fault that he wanted out? I said this to my buddy earlier today. He hasn't picked up on what I meant. He said, the fans. I said, no. Why would he want out? Why did it get here? So instead of you guys all deflecting, not you guys, the chats and the Carson haters want to deflect. Oh, he wanted out. He wanted out. What are they supposed to do? Well, why did it even get to the point of him wanting out? Whose fault's that? And nobody wants to point the finger
spell my fucking name right if you're going to start addressing me, son. Take that shit down.
Block him.
Fucking loser. Can't even spell my name right.
God. Oh my God!
How can you say that they had a pussy schedule in 2017 when they won every game by 80? Every game was over by the end of the first quarter because Carson was killing it.
2017, Bill was one of the ones who were like, "You play who you have to play. You can't use the easy schedule against us."
Yeah.
I guarantee.
Yeah, he was one of them.
So interesting comment. Chris Glover says, "What's the over under on Ertz landing in Indy?" So interesting point.
Over under 10,000%. I'll take.
It's starting to now float out there that the Chargers
are
targeting Zach Ertz. That's an interesting landing spot for Zach Ertz, by the way. So, what are your guys' thoughts?
Why they have Hunter Henry?
I think isn't Henry like he's injured a lot.
Henry's a free agent.
Yeah, so that's
okay.
Other. Yeah.
I mean the whole thing. I mean. Is Ertz really an upgrade from Hunter Henry? I don't know. I really don't. I think Ertz really thrived on being the focal point of an offense. I think he thrived on being the favorite target of a franchise quarterback in Carson Wentz. And I don't know. All I know is every time the Eagles need in a big spot, I saw Zach Ertz run 6-yard routes when 7 yards were needed a bunch of times. And he always got tackled the second he caught the football. No yak sack. He earned that.
Not exactly fair. I mean, there were also a bunch of great and clutch catches that he had.
I get it.
There are a ton. I mean,
I'm not putting. He's a good player. I'm not putting him on the pedestal as Travis Kelce or George Kittle. Zach Ertz.
Stop it. He's a top 5 tight end right now. right now. Come on. Will we stop now? Now we're gonna run him through the fucking muck too. Watch. With Herbert next year or Wentz, whoever he's with, guaranteed his numbers are top 5 tight end in football. Can we stop? We want to hate on all these guys on their way out. The guy had 100 catches almost every freaking year, it felt like. He's always open. He's okay. His yards after the catch stunk. You got to get open. He's always open. Yeah. He caught everything. Let's not be critical.
I'm just saying. Now.
Come on. I think you're better than that.
Even if you don't have,
I guess I'm not, because
even if you don't have him, he's still like one. It was already reported that Ertz did come back early to try to play out the rest of the season. He was hurt after that was it a high ankle sprain? It lingered with him the whole season. So even when he came back, he wasn't 100%. And two, we know that his contract weighed heavily on him. He did not play well because he was always thinking about his contract.
That's why he got hurt.
So I think in a new scene, in a fresh start, new team. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be like an all-pro tight end, but I still think we can start to see him be close to what he was just 2 years ago. I still think he has talent. You don't lose. He's never been one to rely on his athleticism. All right, we all know that. He's not a tremendous athlete, but because he's never relied on his athleticism, that savvy of route running and great hands, that extends your career. You can be a solid or a good tight end and well into your 30s if you know how to run routes and you know how to catch the ball well. Look at freaking Jason Witten. How long has he been playing? And he came back even after retirement, and he still was contributing somewhat. So I think that with Ertz, he goes to a spot. Obviously, with the Chargers, it'll be great with Herbert, but I still think he can give value to a team, and I think that teams see that. They'll see this 2020 season for Ertz as just like an outlier. So I don't want to say that Ertz is done. I can't say that. I can't say that Ertz is done. Just the same way I can't say, Wentz is completely broken. It's one season. It's an outlier, and I think that Ertz is still a good player.
Well, maybe I'm just biased because I thought he was – the reason he got hurt is because he wasn't focused on football. He was butthurt because the Eagles didn't roll out the red carpet and show him Kelsey and Kittle money when he's not as good as Kelsey and Kittle.
That's fine. That's fine. I didn't think we should extend his contract and give him that big of money. But
2 years left.
Regardless of why he got hurt, the fact is he got hurt. And he wasn't focused on football. So
that's what happens when you're doing physical activity and you're not 100% focused. You get hurt.
Go to a different team and you're no longer thinking about your contract or playing hurt. Then you start to be who the player you really was. You really are.
Yeah, he's just too young for me to write off.
Well, he's 31. He's not that young. I would say he still has a couple of years left, but I would say some of these tight ends, like Chuck said, Jason Witten played, but I would say not all these tight ends play into their mid to late 30s. So, but I would say the one thing when it comes to moving Zach Ertz, I would say I don't know how much compensation you're going to get because, like we brought up about the contract, he's still on a 1-year deal. He still wants a new deal. So someone's going to have to give him a new contract plus give compensation for him. I would say that's going to be another outrage. And what type of compensation do you guys think we believe that we should get for Zach Ertz? What's comparable that we're going to be accept or that we're going to accept?
Well, do you guys not think that he has do you guys not believe that he has another good 3 years left in him?
So
I think he does.
I look at the tight end position, right, and that seems to be one position on the field in terms of the offensive skill positions that these guys can produce at a very high level into their mid to late 30s. So, yes, I absolutely believe you can get another 5 really highly productive years out of Zach Ertz. That being said, this is how screwed up that all of this is, guys, because – and welcome in, Pete. Appreciate you jumping in with us, brother. But this is how screwed up this whole situation is now, guys, because
I'm just waiting.
You're moving Carson Wentz at his lowest value. Zach Ertz, if you're going to look to trade him, coming off of an injury-plagued, terrible year at his lowest value, there's nothing working for the organization to try to maximize any of the returns. And you know what? To me, it's kind of like you reap what you sow, right? This is what these guys set themselves up for, and now fuck it. Now we all have to pay the consequences, but so do they.
Pete, welcome in, buddy. We want to hear what you had to say. So let's jump back to the poll question, Pete. Carson Wentz officially traded today. And quickly, you guys over there on the tube, 147 people watching, jump in, subscribe, like, follow, Facebook. Keep your comments coming. Make sure you guys are following A2D on all our social media platforms. Pete, Carson Wentz stock is the biggest organizational failure in Philadelphia sports history. Agree or disagree?
It's like fucking a telenovela, man. It's like a Spanish soap opera, bro. Like, I don't know how we got here. I still don't feel like it's real. Like I was seeing Carson Wentz like mocked in Indy jerseys, and I'm just like, how is it? Like how is he? How is he about to suit up for another team? And
Appreciate you, Jay.
We see. Thank you for the dono, Jay. We see comments like that and shit. Listen, man.
We love
Don
Jay.
Don had it right. He said somebody's about to be called a bitch. So listen, y'all was just talking about Zach Ertz. We was talking about Carson. I get it. With Zach Ertz, you say he never relied on his athleticism. Chucks, he doesn't have any athleticism. He's good at getting fucking open. That's what he does. But he also act like a bitch when he didn't get paid. Carson, when the times got tough, he acted like a bitch as well, and he wanted to leave. I don't fault either one of them for that. Especially Carson, because people seem to forget. He's reciprocating now to the Eagles organization how they treated him. Let's not forget that. Draymond Green said it best recently. He said, why is it that we fault players who want to get out of a bad situation, but we never fault the fucking team?
Yeah.
Fans of this city
Thank you.
and this fan base want to sit here and hold their players to a higher standard than what they hold the team to. Bill Mutterbrook, I love you, brother.
Dude, to
I know
what
you a
they
car
hold
salesman.
themselves as a fan base to.
Yes. But like Middlebrook was saying, he said we played a soft-ass schedule in 2017. You play who you play. The 2017 was the only year that they actually put fucking talent around Carson Wentz. And this is the problem with this Eagles organization. I said it last week. You got the owner, and then you also had the GM who have a bigger fucking ego and think they need a bigger piece of the credit for this team than the players on the fucking field. That's their problem. That's their problem. They want more of the say, who has more cred or who's more responsible for the team's for the team's success than the actual fucking players. And listen, I've said this last week as well. I think Doug was going either way. I think Carson wanted out either way. And to show that Carson still, now that he's ended up in Indy, effective March 17th, it just goes to show that the shit with this organization runs deep. It runs deep day to day. I wish I had Keyshawn's money, I swear to God. But it's some real shit. Like, it takes two to get to this point. And is it the biggest organizational failure? I would say yes, because I think it's bigger than the Reggie White thing. I think it's bigger than the Dawkins thing, because that was just free agent shit. That, you know what I mean? Like, they had a chance, they wanted to move on. This is where we never built somebody up and then had from the interior Trojan horse turn this motherfucker down. You see, that's the biggest problem. Like, we put him on these shoulders. We did that. Now, he did it in 2017 with his fucking play, but he did that. And the fan base said, okay, listen, this is the guy. We found the next one. And then 12 fucking games. 12 games. Horrible games. I will give you that. Horrible games. 12 games of bad quarterback play. And now this dude's playing in the fucking Midwest in Cattletown. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like,
About to go to an
I
AFC
love your analogy.
yo, I was listening on my way in, and I'm hearing Chrome say, like, this fan base doesn't fucking know what it's like. We're spoiled because of the quarterback play that we have. And part of that is true. Even if you even think about it, go back to when McNabb struggled. You have Jeff Garcia. You know what I mean? You still went to the fucking playoffs. Spoiled as shit, man. We may never won it. But our number one QB went out. We always had a decent backup to possibly get us to the playoffs. Jeff Garcia did it in 06, I believe, or 07, some shit like that.
07, baby.
I mean, you even go back to early Andy. You had AJ Philly, Coy Detmer. Like, you had decent backups, but you still went back to that. You still went back to that starter. Where here, I've never seen anything like this. And then people want to. It's so easy to fucking poke holes at Carson now that he's gone. The biggest thing is, could he have said something? Yeah. Did he owe us something? Did he owe us a comment? No. And I know Chrome talked about it last week with the character shit. It just shows you how deep this shit ran. And then he gonna be singing like a fucking canary in Indy, bro. I can't wait until we hear the real shit behind this. And if you think about it, Mike Silver brought up the question to Carson. I don't know if it was this year or maybe last year when he asked him about the practice habits. Like, what's this? The stories we're hearing about bad practice habits, you're not being coachable. And he looked at the media and said, well, I don't know where you guys got that from. You guys leave after 20 minutes of practice. Practice is 2 hours. So it tells him right there, somebody snitching on him from the fucking team. And somebody is not saying this shit with the best interest of him. So you constantly watch from afar. And 2019 was supposed to be his year. That was his year when he got hurt. He's coming into the offseason and did a number 53 overall. You take the biggest fuck you, Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania X7. You hand the steel chair to Jalen Hurts, and now look where the fuck you at. The people's champion is the A2D quarterback champion is now playing for another fucking team.
And Pete, what's crazy too is on top of that, right? When you look at that practice, right, and you bring up 10, 20 minutes that they're in there, right? Whoever their source is, like, you could tell them anything. You could say, hey, I'm there. So whatever I tell you, we can run with it. If I'm a person who personally doesn't feel like Carson's doing enough for me, right? And I'm not saying this was him. I'm just throwing a name out there. If I'm Nelson Aguilar and I feel like Carson's not targeting me enough, I can say anything I want as an anonymous source, and I can and I have credibility because I wear a uniform that I can get away with it. Or if I'm a general manager or somebody who's a higher up, I have the credibility of being in a high position or a close position with the team. And that's what's fucked up about it, is that you could say anything. And who were they to say, well, he's there, but he's not telling the truth.
Right.
Why would he have to lie to me about, or why would he have to say this or that? You know, Carson might have had a bad day, and somebody's like, oh, this guy put a half-assed effort out that day.
Real quick, Chrome.
I'm not making excuses, but that is one of the things that Tom talks about all the time is,
yes,
you know, everybody has these sources, but nobody's willing to name them.
Right.
And when it comes down to it, though, you hear one source says this, and you get a whole different story. It's the whole, like, CNN and Fox News thing. It's the same story in two completely different versions of it. Yep. And it almost sounds like there's always that. There's one story, another story, and then there's the truth.
And listen to this real quick. I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but it doesn't take a fucking rocket science to see who's been controlling the narrative throughout this whole fucking thing. People like us, regular Joe Schmoes on this panel, we work hard for 9 to 5 for the most part, and hopefully we make a decent money, and we make some decent money to be able to pay our bills and put food in our fucking belly, right? We look at a guy like Carson Wentz that's making $128 million that he signed his name to, right? And we want to say, Carson, come out and speak. Carson, come out and speak. Carson, come out and speak. The fucking owner is a billionaire. Who do you think has deeper pockets, more connections to control a fucking story? Like, wake the fuck up.
How he can pull all the purse strings.
Bro, it's beyond him.
Oh, you're right, Jeffrey Lord. I mean,
yes,
it's that whole accountability. He's the one person. There's nobody there to hold him accountable for anything.
Exactly.
He has free fucking reign over everything.
Free reign, and the organization has more ties to control these stories that come out. Like, literally, I thought about it earlier. How you, Jeff, and Chucks are sitting up top of me, right on the screen. Literally, I walk in and say, hey, we're gonna release a story that, hey, Chucks, you're talking to Carson. Jeff, you're talking to Carson. Chrome, would you be okay saying that Carson's not answering your calls and you just play the part of Howie? Look how easy that is, and you release a fucking story and make it. Howie's okay with being the villain, bro, because he has a life. This bitch is about to do 25 years to life as the Eagles organization and fucking get a pension, bro. Like, this bitch about to get a pension. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen anything like it. And for the organization that's constantly wants to push the envelope, hold people accountable, they want to hold everybody accountable except for the owner and the GM, and it's going to come back to bite him in the ass.
The people we need to be accountable.
Yeah, Philly Fanatic, I think that was his handle. Like, he was saying, Carson's going, this is a darker day than Chip. This is I don't understand. Like, I don't know what, I don't think, since I've been an Eagles fan, that this is going to be that. Like, we're about to get into some co-type shit, bro. Like for this one, I'm looking at 2022 NFL Draft big board already. That's how bad this shit is, bro. Like 2022 is already a fucking wash.
Don't tempt me, man. Don't tempt me.
Bro, like all it takes on draft day is Washington. Right now, even now, all it takes is for Washington football team to nut the fuck up and say, Houston, 4 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. Bitch, good night. It's over with. It's over. It's over. Or they fucking if they draft Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, if they move up and go for a QB, if they get a decent QB, it's over. Washington will be the best team in the fucking division for the next 2 to 3 years because that defense fucking travels.
Oh, I think they already are. We had one of the Cowboys guys in there dropping in just saying Eagles suck or whatever. He said, well, must be real fucking hard to have all that talent and still be a shitty team on your end, by the way. Nobody has any place to speak over there. But 168 people watching on the tube, guys. Like the video. Subscribe to us over on the book. Give us a follow, all that good stuff. Follow us on all our social media platforms. Keep your comments coming. Jesse Davis, Washington gets a good QB. The division is over. It's true. It's true. I'm going to be interested to see what they do at the quarterback position. Philly says, I feel you, bro. I agree. Rebuild mode for the next 3 to 5 years. And the thing you said earlier, Philly, right? Before you go, Brinks. The thing you said earlier, right? I think here at A2D, we're waiting for this day, right? So we can get all this out, right? All of this off our chest. Carson Wentz is not going to be the topic, the main topic of conversation going forward.
Thank God.
But this is the night, right? This is the night we grieve. We wake up tomorrow. We understand that we have 2 major fuck-ups at the top of the organization. And unfortunately, we move forward and we talk about how they're going to fuck us up more going forward.
Hey,
Carson, thanks for dropping in, buddy.
When's the last time you've seen that smile, guys? When's the last time?
2017.
And here's the thing. You go on social media and people are mad that he looks like he's happy he's getting moved. Like, shut up.
Shut up.
Can you blame it?
What up, Joe? Stick with us all year. Stick
so
with us all
happy.
year. We're gonna be AFC Colts fans as well. So,
Thanks, Joe. We appreciate you for jumping on, bro.
You,
shout out to Brinks with the old school Sixers logo. Skull.
Oh yeah, man, this is fucking sweet. Fucking
Joe, you
hip hop
should-
days, baby.
Joe, you
Love
should
it,
be
love it, love
excited.
it.
You guys are gonna have a franchise quarterback that might win you an MVP with a coach that knows how to coach this guy and get the best out of him. So you guys should be very excited.
Yeah.
It's a dark day
My,
here, I'll tell you that.
Mary's cousin is a Colts fan too, and he texted me. He's like, we got Wentz. I don't know how to feel. I'm like, I'm gonna cheer
Feel
with
good.
you, man. I'm gonna get you a.
Tell him to
Wentz
feel
Colts
good.
jersey.
Yeah, that's it, Breaks. That's it. Just allow yourself to feel good about it.
Feel good.
Why is he a Colts fan?
He started out as a Peyton Manning fan. He loved Peyton Manning, and then he just stuck with the Colts.
And he's from here.
Yeah.
Oh, stop with that bullshit, Breaks. Oh, you're from here. You're like another
Hey, at
team.
least he didn't
How does
travel,
that happen?
you know,
Why
you have
do you?
the
It's
fans
a
of-
sports team. Why do you have to be affiliated for that?
so
it's
real-
one thing to
Different.
be a bandwagon
Right.
jumper, okay? But
It's
like
an
I
old
loved
school
Ozzie
mentality.
Smith as a kid. The Cardinals didn't win World Series when I was a kid. They didn't win
Right.
until I was friggin' 21. But I loved Ozzie Smith, and I stayed with the Cardinals. That was my allegiance. Honestly, whether people want to agree that you should have to be a Phillies fan or whatever,
Yeah.
to me, it says more about my character that I would jump ship off a team, my first sports team that I ever liked, that got me into professional sports. It says more about my character that I would be that much of a jumper than it does that I don't support my local team.
Yeah,
Fucks it
stop.
up.
Good for you. Good for you. Root your heart out.
Time out.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
Root your heart out. Go ahead.
So
Go
real
nuts.
quick, like, how hard is it to still be an Eagles fan today? And like,
It's not hard at all.
Very hard.
It's hard now, but like, I mean, it's still. I'm still a fan.
Yeah.
Never
To
give up.
Brink-
Yeah.
To Brinks' point, I would be a hypocrite who, if I came on here and said I always have the say, right? Cheer for the uniform, not the name that's on the uniform. I'm not happy with them. I'm not jumping ship off of my team because of this. Listen, all of us here, I know especially, we sat through the damn process, okay? We had a real tough life. I had season tickets for Eddie Jordan, the Eddie Jordan season.
Oh my gosh, the
shit,
Princeton
so-
offense in the NBA. Oh my God,
It was
brutal.
So I'll tell you what. I mean, if I could sit through that era, the Jim O'Brien era, and all that crap,
Oh Lord.
I could sit through this Sixers rebuild or this Eagles rebuild. Believe me.
It's just sucks because it's like
Thanks, Scoob. Yeah, it is.
you feel like you had to do this shit, right? You feel like Kanye, you just lost Kim. You feel what I'm saying? Like Kim Kardashian and Ye, they done. Like, but now who does Ye move on? Like, who do you move on to now? Like, the answer ain't behind fucking door number one. You feel what I'm saying? Like, the one thing I will say about they somewhat know how to evaluate quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like, we generally don't, until pick 53, we generally don't draft one that has this many fucking questions. So, which means, Chrome, you son of a bitch, you were saying it 6 fucking weeks ago.
I said it the day after the season ended. They're going to
number
Justin
6
Fields.
is going to be a fucking QB, and I think it's going to be a fucking QB. I really do.
And that was before I was convinced that Carson was definitely moving on.
Here's the thing: if it's at 6, you're not getting Lawrence, and you're probably not going to get Wilson.
Real quick,
coming down the Fields. The Fields are Lance.
It's going to be
and
Fields.
You're not changing. You're not drafting another quarterback.
You're not drafting a quarterback.
Brodo, put up Philly Sports Passion's comment right here, if you can, on the 1s and 2s in the back.
This one here. Hold on, I got it.
Yeah, they already did it by saying it's going to be a QB competition, but he doesn't deserve it after 4 fucking games anyway. You see what they just did to an MVP.
I don't think it's doing him dirty. I think that's just a smart thing to say. He deserves to have competition. Like, he hasn't proven it yet. He hasn't earned any.
But yeah, this organization has shown that they have no loyalty whatsoever.
I'm going to give you guys a name real quick, and I just want to see you react. I'm just going to start the fire, and I'm going to sit in the background and watch.
So you hear,
say for example, they don't do the Fields thing, or God forbid the Trey Lance thing, or Kyle Trask or Mac Jones. Like if they don't do the draft thing again, and this competition thing is a veteran, right?
Yeah,
this has been a fear of mine for a while. If they bring in Cam Newton,
I knew you were going to say it.
If they do Cam Newton, what's your reaction? I'm sitting
No.
I'd rather have Marcus Mariota than Cam Newton.
I'd rather have fucking Ryan Fitzmagic right now. I'd rather have Ryan Fitzmagic. Give me anybody at this point.
No.
Cam Newton can't play. He can't
Bring me
play
back
anymore.
Tell Dan Orlovsky to come out of retirement. Give me somebody.
I'll take Garcia.
By the way, I'm not suggesting this, everybody. I'm just saying I could see it happening. So everyone get mad at me in the comments.
The sad thing, Ryan, is I don't think you're crazy for saying that. I could see that happening.
He's not great.
It's scary to think that that's a possibility on this football team.
But to bring him in as to compete, or bring him in as a backup?
To compete. They are not giving Jalen Hurts the realm of this franchise without some type of competition. And if they draft a quarterback at 6, I'll say Chuck's brought up a good point. The whole Kyler Murray, when the Cards drafted him, they had to go into that season knowing that Kyler was their man in day 1, and they had to ship out Josh Rosen. So if they draft a quarterback that high, expect Jalen Hurts to be traded too with another veteran, the backup whoever rookie they draft.
That's the smart thing. That's something that the smart organization would do. If
we're not smart. I get that.
Yeah. If they don't believe in Hurts, then draft a QB, trade Hurts. But you could totally see Howie and Laurie being like, let's draft another one and keep both of them. It's dumb. It's dumb. I think that Fields is from just a prospect point of view. I think Fields is obviously a better prospect than Hurts, but I think that when you consider we got Hurts in the 2nd round, and then Fields would cost an early 1st round, like the 6th overall pick, I think I'd rather just stick with Hurts. I don't believe in Fields enough to be like, yeah, I want to pick him at 6. You know what I mean? Like,
but this is the
I
thing.
have question marks about Fields, and so like. You already have Hurts, who we all agree, we talked about in the first half. We kind of all agree that he probably isn't the answer, but I don't feel confident enough in Fields to pick him instead of just giving Hurts a chance in 2021. That's personally me. I'd rather just pick. I'd rather pick a wide receiver, pick Chase, pick a corner. Don't go QB. That's the route I would go. But I mean, I'm just nobody.
But see, the thing is, and to speak to Manny's point, get prepared if they do it, because 2022, them QBs that stock is short, honey. This draft is the draft that you have more than one possible potential franchise starting. Because, bitch, listen, you look at the potential QBs in 2022. Yeah.
Don's smiling right now. He got his Pete bitch.
Pete, to that point, it's fluid though, because 2 years ago or a couple years ago, we wouldn't have figured, Joe Burrow would be a quarterback that could be the guy. You don't know. Quarterbacks sometimes, and so we just don't know how things will play out.
But what I'm saying is there's not even like QBs in the top 10 on big boards, bro.
No, I know. Right now,
it's 2 years away.
But it's still 2 years away.
It's one, Brinks. We're talking about next year. I'm trying to have two picks next year.
2 drafts away. It's
right, not this draft, but the one after that.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they may be forced in a position that if they feel like they look at the future and they truly want to develop a QB competition, or they feel like somebody that they have, if they compare Fields to Hurts, I mean, they probably going to go with Fields. If he's, you hope as a fan, all of us are sitting here saying that you don't want two things. If there is a QB on the board at 6, you want somebody from behind you like Denver or somebody like that to want to come up. Or you want no QB to be on the board so Howie's not fucking tempted, and you pray to God that he still don't take Kyle Trask at 6, because then I'm fucking done. Then I'm done.
Don't put that juju out there, man.
I just can't believe we're back here again.
Exactly, TA. Oh my God.
It's mind blowing that.
It is mind blowing.
Dark Days Eagles football.
We just did all this. Like, it's not even exciting. To be honest with you guys, it's not even exciting anymore. Like, maybe just today, maybe we'll get more exciting as time goes on. But right now, it's hard to get excited about any bit of direction for this franchise moving forward. Anything. Like, even if you take Surtain at 6, who I love, like, I'm still not excited.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how all the the comments? There's some anti-Wentz comments out there, but funny how all the venom kind of backed off after you see what a shitty trade you made. Because even the people that hate Wentz, they know that this trade is terrible.
Yep.
And it's an organizational failure. And now, Chrome's point, we're spoiled. You go from Howie fixed Chip Kelly's shortcomings with Carson Wentz like that. Very fortunate. And now Howie's big ego thinks, wow, I'm just gonna fix it again. Just like that.
I'm gonna fix what I broke, because this is the one thing about them that they didn't have the insight, and they really couldn't see. They didn't think that Wentz was this soft mentally. But the thing is, it's one thing if you do one, maybe 2 things. You've constantly been fucking this kid over for the last 3 seasons. You haven't put
advantage of him.
Yeah, and you haven't put anything around him. And I'll get people are going to say, well, this, that, and the third. Listen, they could have fucking had DK. You tell me, listen, he was Chuck's boy. We saw it on draft day. Now Chuck's can't stand the shit. Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like you get talent like that, and then maybe Wentz is still fucking here, and he's not pitching the fucking fit. Like, if you're Wentz and you have this position, if you just take it on the field, I got sacked 50 times in 12 games. I'm throwing in the wide receivers who don't know their fucking routes. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, what do I got what motivation outside of the fucking money? And I talked about this before. For dudes like this, the money isn't the fucking motivation now. He didn't sign a contract. He got a signing bonus. He's making his bread. At this point, he want to succeed and be able to go hunt in the fucking wintertime and not be fucking hurt. He took a fucking early 4-week vacation and said, you know what, I'm out this bitch. I done had my last Philly cheesesteak.
And
Now,
how many
I don't even know what fucking Indy is known for when it comes to food. I just know they got a lot of fucking steakhouses out there.
steakhouses? I was about to say steakhouses.
That's it.
People at the combine always talk about people that go over to the combine media. So now they always talk about different steakhouses there. I'm dying to go.
The only thing that I don't agree on, and I see our boy Joe Castro just put this out. I don't agree with it. Like, I think it's big time speculation. Not saying you, but when people say mentally soft with him, like there's no inside information on that. There's no knowledge. Not saying you said this. Like,
right.
there's no knowledge of him being soft. Like, I think the mentally soft thing is just a bullshit narrative that gets thrown around, and people say, well, because he didn't want to fight for his job here. What?
Right.
What are you talking? Like, I don't understand how that's mentally soft because you paid the guy. The guy should be the starting quarterback here, and you're looking to replace him after you paid him. Like, anybody would be like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
And his best friend on the team, you did the same thing to after you were the Super Bowl. After he was a Super Bowl hero in Zach Ertz, you went and drafted his replacement the next year.
Right.
So you're talking about two friends that have sat here and watched this happen, and you think these guys aren't human beings and don't talk? This is where everybody gets confused by it. This has been going on since the end of 2017, like Chrome said earlier.
And here's the thing, too, guys. If you don't believe that other players around the league are going to watch how this unfolded and say, man, if that's how that organization treats their franchise quarterback, why would I want to go there? Exactly. What benefit is me? What security do I have there?
Yeah.
You got another thing coming. And believe me, players back players and players talk. So this is going to be an issue that's going to follow this organization, guys. I guarantee it.
Like, look at this fan base and how much effort we put into the process. Not so much, or just how much we paid attention to it. And then that fucking, remember how we were for that fucking pick swap? Like how crazy we were for the pick swap with Sacramento? Watch Carson Wentz be at 74.8% of the snaps, bitch, in week 16. Fucking bitch. Yo, it's going to be a certain segment of the fan base that are watching next season just so they can get that fucking first, so that pick converts to a first. I bet you there will be a fucking podcast within the next 2 weeks born out of this Wentz shit and going to call the process part due. DAUX, bitch, or DEUX, whatever, however the fuck your fancy you say it. But watch, bro. That's we want results, but there's a lot of fucking people out here in this fan base who care more about the person, how they're a leader, what they do in their off time, than more than what they fucking do on the field, man. And listen, bitch, you could be an asshole, win. Al Davis, bitch, win, baby. That's all I get.
Just win, baby.
Just win. I don't give a shit about nothing else, bro. I'm not trying to make you my I'm not having my kids look up to you. I'm not naming my sons and shit, my grandsons and shit after you. You feel what I'm saying? Yes, I'm old enough to fucking have grandkids. I don't want any, but I'm just saying.
I did.
You know what I mean? But, like, bro, like, stop. Like, you can't. People out here who are killing Wentz, like Tom said. I'm not saying he's mentally soft, but that narrative, or Wentz this and he turned his back, you should be saying you should have that same venom towards the organization, the one that actually has all the money, who's in that position to make these decisions. Don may be 31, maybe 50 by the time this shit is over. Because I like Rob said earlier, you go through those stages of grief. I was like, I wasn't inconsolable, but bitch, I was nauseous after the trade went down. You know what I mean? We have a chat, and I was that actually literally sick to my stomach. And then I came to some acceptance, and then I'm listening to y'all on the way where I was at coming into the show. And now I'm just back to being like, I can't, like, this is the upside down, bitch. Like, this shit is like
Stranger Things shit.
Because there's no way we should have fucking got here.
After
what you gave up to getting in 2016, you lucked up. Teddy Bridgewater fucking blew his knee off. You feel what I'm saying? In Minnesota, his knee fucking exploded. You lucked up and you turn. How the fuck in the world do you get more for Sam Bradford than Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
Well, because of that reason, Minnesota felt that they were a playoff contending team And without a quarterback, they were willing and desperate enough to move and trade that type of compensation. Completely different circumstance here. I would say Carson Wentz, the whole league knew he wanted out. Other trade partners backed out in this situation. This was the only deal on the table that they could make. And realistically, the Eagles still ended up with a first-round pick. I would say all he has to do is play 75% of the snaps or 70 and make the playoffs, which unless he tears his knee or gets hurt for the season, the first couple games of the year, that's a first-round pick for Howie. That's all he cared about. So you're still technically getting first round, just not for this season to improve that roster.
You know how bad this is for me, Jeff? I can't stand anybody with the fucking first name Howie now. Immediately. He's ruined that name for me forever.
Entered the realm of like Karen and like as in names not to name your children.
There will be no more Howies in fucking Philadelphia for a long, long time.
Yeah, I would rather have players. I would rather have players back because, like, picks to me, especially with this guy drafting, just brings me no excitement. Like, we could have got 2 first back, and I would have been like, okay, like now you got to hit them. They're unknowns. It's like trading prospects in baseball. You just go ahead and do it for known players all the time. And that's what good teams do.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, Tom. Sorry. And I said it in the chat earlier today. I thought because I don't think the trade is a horrible trade, but I don't think it's a great trade. I personally was disappointed because I thought if this was going to be the return in terms of draft picks, I thought we would have gotten a player as the third asset getting back. But there was none. It was just the 2 picks, and I'm like, damn, like the one isn't even a solid bona fide first rounder. It's conditional, and I get I get it. Like it's most likely going to be a first, but you never know. Knock knock. Jadeveon Clowney comes again for Carson Wentz. This time hits his ACL in week 1. I don't even know what team Clowney's going to play for. But what I'm saying
is, on the Titans, right? He signed a couple-year deal with the Titans.
I thought it was a 1-year deal.
It was a 1 year.
It was a 1 year.
So nothing. Anything could happen. And even as I posted this earlier, the biggest FU to Philly would be if Carson Wentz gets hurt early in the season, comes back in the midseason, the Colts make the playoffs, eventually win the Super Bowl with Carson. He wins MVP, but his percentage of snaps is only like 69%, and we don't get that first rounder. That would be the biggest FU to Philly. So like that uncomfortability and uncertainty of not knowing for sure that we're getting a first rounder really sucks. And I thought I would have really liked a player and like a decent, solid player back in return, but that's not the case, and it's frustrating. I don't think it's a horrible trade, but I don't think it's a great trade. I'm kind of just like, all right, like it's a meh trade. It's a mediocre trade.
I said this earlier. We got compensation back. Like we literally made a trade. We traded our franchise quarterback, and the only first round pick we get in return is based off an if. Like, wow. I mean, that's no good. It's no good.
That's like playing spades and you got like 4 spades and 1 heart, and you tell your partner, I got 3 books and a possible, bitch. Like, you don't know if you're gonna get it. Like, you may have a chance to crap out or some shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's just, bro, like, you don't trade. When you trade people and you get worse, like, and you have nothing to look forward to as a future, you know what I mean? And don't sell me on Hurts, you know what I mean? Good kid, like Brink said earlier, good kid, but you can't magically make your arm just get stronger. You can't. You mental process, and maybe that can get somewhat better, but he ain't it. And if they feel like he ain't it, don't wait the fuck around. Do what you need to do to get a fucking QB in this draft, or do something.
You know who we could add? You know who we could add with one of the picks we gave up for Wentz?
Deshaun.
Yeah. So I mean,
really?
Yeah. It would have been pick number 12 in 2017.
You can't.
Deshaun was 2018 though, wasn't he?
Or whatever.
No, he was 17.
Yeah, 17. Yeah. The next year after us, after 2016.
Can't make this shit up, boys.
Not saying like that's a what if, obviously.
And then like like this, like Gilio and Elliot Short Parks, these fucking guys that want to come out here who have a so-called bigger platform than us, and you want to pound your chest like, oh, I'm so fucking happy. Like, get a fucking clue, man. The team itself is in a worse fucking position. Like, remember that shit. And please, Tom, you know we about to have. Listen, bitch, if I need to be on screen. Because I want him to see this face and tell me that, try to sell me that bullshit to my fucking face. That he really feels like that.
As soon as my mouth isn't like out here anymore, I plan on getting them on so I can berate them.
Have fun.
But we're not there yet. So as soon as this like swelling goes down and I stop struggling with my S's, that'd be great. So I'm like fucking Cal Ripken right now. I'm just battling through it. It's bigger than the mouth. But this is like
it's like you got dip. You're like an old baseball coach. Like you got dip going.
Well, I wonder if in the hospital when I threw one in, I wonder if it like created an irritation. You know what I mean? And it's just hitting me like a week later. But who knows? But this is just like I came in hot. Brinks knows this to start the show off earlier around 1:30 or 1:30 show.
I followed you up.
And I'm upset. There's not going to be like the stages of grief for me is pissed. And the only thing that's going to change
that's it.
It's going to change that is this organization showing me that they're committed to winning again. That's the only thing that's going to change it. I don't trust anybody or anything or any picks. Like, even if you draft my favorite guy in this draft this year, I'm going to start questioning myself.
Not even
so,
committed.
You know what I mean? Like, is this guy any good?
Not even just
wait, if they like him, are we?
It's not even just about commitment because I can't stand Laurie right now, but I think he does want to win. It's more of like I need to see that they're capable of winning. Like you have to show me you're capable of doing it. I haven't seen anything since the Super Bowl year where they are capable of putting together a winning franchise. It's been each year it's been progressively worse and worse and worse. So I get your point. I agree. I'm just taking it a step further. Like it's not just about the commitment. You can tell me, you can try to sell us on, hey, we want to win so bad. And hey, I might believe you that you want to win so bad, but are you smart enough to be able to pull it off? Because I'm telling you what, there are probably 30, 31 other GMs who are just as committed. Maybe not some, but there are most of the league. They're committed too. They want to win, but the thing is, there are only a handful of organizations that have the ability to pull it off. So I need to see more.
Yeah, but Chuck, to your point though, they only want to win if they look like the smartest people in the room doing it. Like it's not enough. It's not enough just to win. They have to do it their crazy, fucked up way, where it like doesn't count in their mind.
They have to be the reason why. Like they have to. Not only can they just bask in the success of the fucking organization, they need to be the touted reason why the organization was successful.
Like I say it all the time with the Sports Hounds, mainly when we bring up Brady or Belichick. I think that argument's to bed. Players make good coaches look smart. Bill Belichick's a 500 coach without Tom Brady. Tom Brady leaves for 1 year, he wins the Super Bowl. So, like, am I just supposed to think Nick Sirianni is going to take a guy like Jalen Hurts, who couldn't even hold down a college job in Division I, and make him a franchise quarterback? That's not fair. That's not fair to ask Nick Sirianni to do that. That's a battle not even worth fighting because you're going to lose. And like I said on the earlier, not even on this show, the shows are kind of melding together. That's why the Eagles always you're always head scratching your head when they hire a coach. You scratch your head when they hired Andy. Because let's face it, Andy Reid, when hired, didn't have the resume to be a head coach. He just didn't. Chip Kelly, we all know the college thing with different guys and how that works out. That's a risk. And Doug Peterson, it worked out kind of, even though I don't think they're going to miss Doug, because I think that Doug is more like the coach he showed after the Super Bowl than the coach he was in 2017. Right. But Doug Peterson, based on resume, should not have gotten a head coaching job. Period.
Sirianni's the same way. They try to look for those diamonds in the rough. I've said this numerous times.
Right.
Because 2017 was the coach has to make the jumps that Howie thinks are good on the field.
See, I look at
nobody with any type of resume is going to sign up for it.
See, now I look at Sirianni, although he's not the sexy name that was out there. I do look at him, and in terms of to the point that you're making, he does have more of a resume of credibility than most of the hires they have made. I think that's fair to say and give him a little bit of credit there. He's been through multiple organizations. He's worked in multiple positions. He has done well with developing quarterbacks and developing wide receivers. So I can't. To be fair, he has more of a resume than those other names that were mentioned.
He had a stronger resume than Doug did at 16.
I was about to say that. Yeah,
I think Nick Sirianni is very smart because I think what him and his people did was, okay, you're not going to let me have a seat at the table. You guys do what you want. You tell me who's playing on Sunday. That's fine. I want my guys as assistants.
Yeah.
Which Doug didn't have. Doug kind of just got, you're the head coach, here's your assistants, and by the way, we're going to do everything for you. Just show up on Sunday, and here's the plan.
Wouldn't Nick Sirianni be the same lame duck that Doug Peterson was? I mean, the same guy's putting the players together. So I don't understand, like, if anybody out there thinks that Nick Sirianni is going to get more out of the same group of slop that Doug Peterson did.
That was my whole point. Yeah,
I just think that the whole thing's misguided. Like, this guy is set up to fail. Anyway, we want to slice it. He's set up to fail, which is a shame because I like Nick. And I think he is a smart guy, and I think he could be a damn good head coach. Maybe things change in 2 years. You know what I mean? National Football League's quick. Ebb and flow of it. It can be quick. I'm not saying that he'll never be a good coach. I actually think Nick could be a very good coach. I like his staff, right? I just don't like the guy who's putting the players together for him to coach up, and then to think that we're gonna round peg, square hole this shit. Like, I mean, it's unfair to think of. I mean, Doug Peterson. You know, everybody was crowning Howie Roseman for the moves in 2017, but this is the same Howie Roseman that wanted to get rid of LeGarrette Blount and Patrick Robinson in camp. So and Doug Peterson's the one, and Frank Wright and these guys fought for these guys to be on this team, and Jim Schwartz. So I mean, this guy loves getting his hands in things, and he's constantly wrong. Look at the two moves he made this past year. And people can tell me whatever. I don't care what system Jim Schwartz runs. The fact of the matter is you got rid of two young corners that you put stock into, that you value in a second and third round pick. You got rid of, and they went other places and played good football, right? So you can blame coaching staffs, or you can blame, you know what, you're willing to give up it's looking like you're willing to get rid of guys a little too early now. It used to be he held on to guys too long. Now it looks like, oh my God, the second a guy can't play, we're going to move on from him. Like Sidney Jones is a perfect example. Like a memory came up 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I said I wouldn't have traded Jones and a third for Darius Slay, and I still stand by that today. And I like Darius Slay, but I wouldn't have made that deal because you're just getting older. You're giving up picks that you can't afford to give up because you have such a problem with young talent. That's the reason you weren't in win now mode last year. You made that trade like you were. Who the fuck are you kidding? You weren't in win now mode.
So speaking of Darius Slay, so like who's the next one to drop? Like, is this what's the next move outside of Ertz? Like,
how do you trade Slay, Pete, when you just give him you know what I mean? Like, you just give him a third and a fifth one.
Slay's not going anywhere.
Like, I'm not saying trade Slay, but I'm saying like there has to be to get, like Brink said, like they're $50 million over the cap, right?
No,
after this,
you can't trade Cox because of the dead cap. There's like a lot of guys that you can't move probably because of the dead cap.
I don't think they're gonna bring back Barnett because if they cut him, that frees up $10 million. They need that money, so I don't think they're gonna bring back Barnett. I don't think Mills is gonna come back. I forget who said it earlier on Twitter before the show, but don't be surprised if this team, and I know we just talked about it. This team could be gutted pretty bad. I mean, I agree. It wouldn't surprise me if Cox is gone. I don't know how far down the totem pole he is, but don't be shocked if he's gone and traded. But, you know, those are just two names on top of my head because I know that A2D, we did posts on Barnett and Mills, you know, if we think we should bring them back. I don't see either of them coming back because of money reasons, because we don't have the money, and this team is in an obvious rebuild where –
What about Brandon Graham?
He's going to get restructured if he wants to stick around, especially when you had Josh Sweat perform the way that he did last season. I would say that's another name, but I would say they're definitely going to probably move on from Alshon Jeffrey. Deshaun Jackson, that's going to free up some cap space.
Jackson's gone.
Yeah, so there's ways to free up cap space, and they announced today that it's going to be at least a minimum of $180 million, so it's a little bit higher than what most expected, so it gives them a little bit more wiggle room.
Yeah.
I mean,
Still
I
a long way to go.
don't think any veteran that makes any substantial type of money is safe.
There's one positive out of all this stuff, right? And I know we've been a lot of doom and gloom, and rightfully so. The one positive, because we do have to at some point, not now, but start to look forward, right? And the one positive is over the next, not this year, but over the next 2 years after, I mean, you're saving $47 million on his deal. So I'm not saying you're going to go address that right and spend the money right, but that is something that you can look forward to and say that there is money available. The only problem I have is I've only heard one guy say this besides people like on social media, but like Mike Tannenbaum earlier actually tried making a case that this was a good deal for the Eagles. And that's why you're sitting in an ESPN. That's why you're an ESPN analyst, not a GM. You fucking idiot.
You remember the Hard Knocks with him? I think he was the GM of the Miami Dolphins, and they were on Hard Knocks. And everything that came out of his mouth was just like.
You know who's more upset that he's not a GM anymore, Tom? That Tannenbaum's not a GM is Howie. Because every fucking deal he had with Tannenbaum, he fucking fleeced him. That's it. As soon as he
really did.
Took advantage of him.
Stephen Ross was like, why do we keep losing every deal with the Eagles?
Let's try again.
Like every fucking time, bro. Like I don't know, man.
No,
like,
and Tom, you're right. That's a fair point because you look at get through the next 2 years, and if we can hit on these draft picks the next 2 years and rebuild a solid core over the next 2 years, you're gonna have a lot of free agent money to spend in 2023, and that is something to potentially look forward to.
Yeah,
I thought I was bad bringing up 2022. You just said 2023, and I'm
But to the point that he made, though, I mean, you were talking about looking at quarterbacks for next year.
That's two. Two is lower than 3. That's 2 years away. God damn. I can't.
Well, listen, if they could turn it around in 2 or 3 years, I'll be happy because I don't have to turn it around for the next 5 to 7 years. So,
and that's the worst part. Like, you only get 16 games. You get 4 months of this shit.
17.
Yeah.
Well,
That's true.
well, that's it. It's the shortest fucking season out of all major 4 sports, and it's just like, bro.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Isn't it funny though that like we're like it's just amazing like through a COVID year where obviously a lot of things got messed up. The Eagles got messed up even more from it somehow, and this was the team that we thought coming into it would be in better shape because they had the head coaches here. I mean, they had the head coach here still. They weren't going outside the organization. You know what I mean? And here we are.
What has to happen for Howie Roseman to lose his job?
Nothing.
Yeah, somebody has to. A woman has to come out and say he sent her a D pic or something like.
No, catfish it up.
Yeah, you got to do some shit, bro.
Dude, that weasel's probably into some fucked up shit too.
Yeah, it takes one person to come out and say Howie Roseman did this or spoke to me inappropriately. But in this cancel culture, oh bitch, Jeffrey Lurie would be forced to fire.
Dude, he touched me like Sandusky back in the day. So I mean, we'll get that real quick. Sorry, I mean I apologize.
No disrespect to the victims.
No. Of course not. I said at 1:30 today. I said at 1:30 today. I'm sorry in advance for anything I said that offends people today.
This is rated G.
Yeah, we made it very clear.
1:30 was off the.
Oh god.
1:30 was aggressive. It was aggressive.
Listen, you
came in hot, aggressive. I came in aggressive. Wilson said he was going to kill himself if it took
on the air.
Yeah.
On the air for the views. He said he was going to take one for the team. It was terrible. So it was just not terrible. I loved it. It was off the rails.
Of course, Tori was their normal Eeyore doom and gloom self.
Broke his thumb. She put her hood up and had the meanest mug ever on for about the next 10 minutes.
She said the fractured thumb's going to affect them forever.
Yeah.
But that's like. But you, as a Philadelphia fan, that you think that way.
You do though.
You do.
You think that way as a fucking Philadelphia fan. You're like,
absolutely.
Can't nobody get fucking hurt, bro. Like, but the Flyers ain't played in what 3 fucking weeks. It feels like are they playing tonight?
Yeah, they're playing right now.
It's the first game in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, half the team
and they're playing well with
protocol.
They're playing well with half the Phantoms on the team.
Yeah, it's all.
They're skating
that way on Sunday at Lake Tahoe. We're gonna have It's going to be the Phantoms facing off
It's
against the
it's
Bruins.
gonna be an awesome game, though. That's
Oh,
gonna be really
wonderful.
cool.
Very excited for that game. And I'm glad that they're able to get back on the ice in time to play that game because that was a little touch and go, obviously. So anything else for the good of the cause, gentlemen, before we sign off? Because we got our buddies over at the Hockey Happy Hour coming at us tonight.
Nah, man, I came in hot and heavy out, and I know I wasn't here the whole time, but I got out what I needed to get out.
The only other thing I have is, I question raising my goddamn son an Eagles fan with this shit.
Damn.
I'm just kidding.
Don't say that.
Oh, I don't know why I'm booting us off. I thought that said 9:41. Never mind, guys. We're good for a while. If you have other.
Oh,
stuff.
okay. I wasn't going to say anything. Like, all right.
As we say, the Flyers are now down 2-1.
Okay.
So, looking at this organization now, and realistically looking at a possible rebuild situation, I want to know from everybody. Give me a time frame that you believe this team will be able to start to turn the corner back to a winning record.
I mean, I think Carson put you back at least a year. Because I think if you had Carson and you salvaged it, you have a division where 7 games won. 7. You have a 7 seed in the NFC in the Chicago Bears that won 8. So those 2 win totals weren't unreachable stars by any means. But now you got no quarterback. And that's a problem. So if you had Carson and you get a guy at 6 and maybe a guy at whatever it is, 36 or whatever the second round pick is, things can happen good for you quick. But now it's at least 2, I think, because I'm not a Hurts guy. I don't think anybody on the panel is a Hurts guy. If you're real with yourself and put aside he's a nice kid and a good leader, right, and all that bullshit that means absolutely fucking nothing when it comes to winning football games, that he's not a franchise player. You don't have one of them until I get one of them, which is why I always said that I didn't want to do any trade that didn't leave me with at least the hope of someone turning into a franchise player. Like the Drew Lock rumors from Denver somewhat intrigued me. I think Drew Lock is an okay player. I can start him over Jalen Hurts and feel good. But now you got Jalen Hurts and nothing. You have the 6th pick, but who cares? I mean, Patrick Surtain, it's not giving you it's 2, at least 2, I guess, to answer the question. But I think a lot of these veterans that we've grown to love over the years, I think a lot of them are going to be gone.
Yeah.
So
end of the year. I'm with Tom. I got a 5 to 7 window. See in the chat, a lot of people giving 3 years, maybe 4 years. A lot of 2024 and 2025. You're going 10 years?
Let's relax on like
can't wait that long.
7 years.
No, see, Rob, I won't because I don't. The issue goes above Howie Roseman.
I understand
the
that.
issue goes with Jeffrey Lurie. The ego doesn't go away, and until this organization is sold, I could very easily see this organization sliding to where you have a decade of disaster. It is not impossible. We saw it in the fucking 90s with this team. It is absolutely a possibility, and I don't think Jeffrey Lurie is in touch with this organization anymore.
Yeah, but they were bad from they were bad in the 90s. They were bad from like 96 to 99.
They weren't great. They were like a mid.
Ray Rhodes went to the playoffs, did he not?
Right, they had a one-off. A lot of teams can sneak into the playoffs, but it wasn't a good era. You had Richie Kotite. You had a lot of real bum coaches and bum teams. Now, I don't think they really did Ray Rhodes a whole lot of favors either at that time.
I'm just saying that with all the money that Tommy just talked about that we're going to be getting, and presumably a high draft pick this year, probably next year too. I can't go past that because I just can't. My mind can't go there. There's enough parity. There's enough parity in this league where it's not a 10-year. Like, come on, 7 to 10 years. Like, come on.
Well, there's no parity. There's no parity without a quarterback. So the parity goes away without a top 15 quarterback. So
top 10, top 10.
And if
if a guy like a Justin Fields or Jalen Hurts are your quarterbacks, it's going to take 3 to 4 years just to develop them into that guy.
Stop with Fields. Stop.
I'm not going to stop because it's a very, very likely possibility. I'm not saying I love him, but I believe that that's the.
Give me the BYU. Give me Wilson's cousin out of BYU.
I would rather have Trey Lance before I fucking take Justin Fields.
That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna trade back and say, "Oh, well, we turned this North Dakota State guy into a franchise quarterback, and now we're gonna do it again."
Can you believe that if that happens? Jesus Christ.
That'll
I haven't
happen.
watched Trey Lance. Can he play?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a more accurate Carson. Put it like that.
I don't care where you played at. I don't care if you played the same school.
I do.
I just want you to be able to play.
Right.
I don't care. I'm not. I don't want to draft a quarterback, but like if they do, obviously I'll root for that guy to be and pray that he's the future in the franchise. But I don't have any high hopes right now. To me, I let Jalen Hurts have the job and run him out there. And if he ends up turning into a franchise guy, then guess what? We won with a second-round pick. If he doesn't, then guess what? The next 2 years, we're a top 5 pick team in the draft. And Howie's always shown the one thing, that if he does target a guy, he might not like him 3 years later. But if he does target a guy, he has no problem going and getting him. So I'll give him credit for that, even though, far and few between.
I'll probably say 3 to 4 years. One side of this fucking team has to get on the football has to get good. You hope it's the offense, but I can see this team really trying to go heavy defense and trying to build it up to just get some stability, because that's what you're going to need if they plan to ride out with Jalen Hurts, who I have less than a 5% chance of turning into a franchise quarterback. I just don't have high hopes for him. So if that's going to be the case and you're going to be 52% running the football a lot, you're going to need to fucking stout defense. And from what I heard about so far from the Nick Sirianni staff, Jonathan Gannon, nothing but good things. Then that's that you need one side of the football to be stable.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is that the owner said how he cares more about offense.
Yeah,
and that's in your owner's mouth.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
He's been caring about offense too fucking much. Jeffrey Jones, that's his fucking name.
It is. It really is. For all you guys over there on YouTube, make sure you guys there's 161 people over there. Make sure you guys are liking the video, giving us a follow, all that good. Or subscribing over on the book. Make sure you guys are giving us a follow. Share us out wherever you guys can. Even if you're disliking what we're saying.
You can hit every word out of somebody's mouth. Hit the dislike button then.
React.
Well, where was Jeffrey Lurie when it was time to pay T.O. if he's all of a sudden this Mr. Offense? Where was Mr. Lurie when they were throwing out Stinkston and trash with Donovan McNabb all them years? Where was the top 5? You can't win without a top 5 offense then.
Lurie he didn't know himself. And this is why I say, Brinks, like 2017 was one of the fucking worst things that fans love it, but as an organization it was the fucking worst thing that can happen. Because it created a fucking monster.
Right, because it caused everyone saw that all the smart people got jobs elsewhere. Yep. And we got all the jabronis stayed here.
Yep. It's like, I said it last week, it's like the first time you ever, with a girl, and you build a statue of that girl. That's the fuck they did in like record time. Record time. Like, you don't do that. Win with class. Win like you've been to fucking 6 NFC Championship games, Jeffrey Lurie.
Release the book with the head coach that you fired 3 years later. Put a statue out of him and a backup quarterback that gave you 10 great quarters.
That's it. This is just my God.
It's comical. It's laughable.
I feel like I'm dreaming that we just traded our franchise quarterback for a 3rd-round pick and the potential of a first. Whoop-de-doo. The 3rd-round pick, I already said this earlier, is like, okay, you can just say that's Davian Taylor's cousin. You know what I mean? That's who that pick is. That's a miss. You can write that down somewhere. You got a little book at home in your notes on your iPhone? Write down the 3rd-round pick. Miss. You can just book it. Miss. And a 1st-round pick, off a track record, probably going to be a miss too. I almost thought they said, and I said this earlier, right, Briggs? I almost thought that they called up and said, we'll give you 2 twos, and a second can turn into a first, right? And Howie goes, 2 twos. And somebody said back to him, yo, you haven't been good with 2s. You sure you don't want to take a 3? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's how it went. You know what? Screw it. Just give me a 3 and a possible 1. Mess.
Yeah, very Philly sports passion house, but anywhere else with Wentz, and he has this type of season. Does this happen?
Yep.
Any other team?
We're a laughing stock.
Did you see the spin, Chrome? Did you see the spin that happened like right after he was traded? It was like this spin like immediate by the national media, like the Colts are built to win it all.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my God.
What?
Yeah.
You just said the guy stunk.
Vegas. Yes. Vegas boosted their odds.
And he slipped.
What is it? And everything. ESPN is like, oh, the Colts are a Super Bowl favorite. What? I thought Wentz stunk. What is this?
Breaks, you got him at good odds, right?
22-1, baby. My money's down.
I'm putting my money down.
14 whole dollars to win. I think like 300 and something. They're gonna win.
God.
It's gonna be the Colts and the Rams, and Carson's gonna stick it right up our ass, and he's gonna win the Super Bowl and probably win the MVP too. That's a 30-1. I'm astonished these sportsbooks haven't pulled to like update their odds.
I'm gonna laugh and cry at the same time, guys. I'm gonna laugh and cry. You'll see me all playoffs on our show. I'm gonna be laughing and crying the whole time. Every week. As the Colts
they're gonna walk away.
I'm gonna have to deal with that, Chucks. I'm gonna have to deal with the Frank Reich, smartest guy in the room, and then Carson winning a Super Bowl, right? Like I'm gonna deal with both of them. You know what I mean? Because I was like, Doug can win without Frank. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then you find out after the fact, right? I love when stuff comes out that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman tried to fire Frank Reich after 2016, and Doug Peterson fought for him to keep him here, but these two guys are still in power. I can't.
Yeah, the only guy who garners 0% accountability for 4-11-1 is Howie Roseman. It's not.
Well, you go and take his whole staff. We didn't want you in 2016, but now we want your whole staff.
Yeah. Just watch. Next year, the Colts offensive coordinator is going to be Doug Peterson. There you go. Watch.
Oh God!
Could you imagine?
Oh my God!
Could you imagine?
Hold on, Crum. Remember this one, Crum? Who's their quarterback coach right now? Press Taylor, right?
Press Taylor.
I thought because the media in this city loves to speculate. I thought they were worst enemies. They hate each other. Couldn't even walk by each other. That's what I was told by all the beat writers. All the morons told me they can't even walk by each other. There's that much hatred. He said Wentz is a type A personality, uncoachable. What?
Press Taylor's there.
What happened? I can't. Yeah, like what? Oh.
And then like the Bears, they're trying to position themselves to get Carson with DeFilippo. They promoted him to like assistant head coach. They're trying to. I thought that wasn't a mix either.
Well, did you guys see the Marcus Hayes article yesterday? I know it's off topic and it was basketball, but I just never knew this.
What, sitting bull?
Well, like the opt out in the header.
Right?
Yeah. Like so you got a guy writes an entire article, right, and has no control over the headline.
Yeah.
And then I messaged him. I said, "Yo, Marcus, like I wasn't trying to take a shot at you. I'm taking a shot at the header, right? Like I didn't even know you wrote it until somebody said, "Oh, Marcus Hayes," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I tagged them, asking them, "Hey, can you clarify this? Like the guy didn't opt out. What are you talking about in terms of Embiid?" Well, he messaged me and said, "You know," because I messaged him inbox like, "Dude, wasn't trying to take a shot at you. Like I don't understand this." And he's like, "For you, you created a big shitstorm over here by not trying to take a shot at me." Well, I don't know. Lock in the Daily News, bro. You should have control over your article. It's your article. Like, you're going to allow them to put opt-out in there? Like he didn't want to play? That's bad. That's not how this goes.
Yeah,
that's your opinion. I never knew that.
Apparently I learned that a couple years ago, especially with the Santa Liquido article, the Santa Liquido Wentz article. Is that these writers they don't decide the header, the article title. It's the editor. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It's sad just for this, Juxer, right? Just for like, let me click on that. Clickbait. Yep.
It's clickbait. Yeah, it's to drive the attention and drive the clicks. And it sucks because it really doesn't put it can put the writers in a compromising position. You know what I mean? So I found that mind-boggling too when I found that out. But
Well, listen, I am Don, because me and Nate Moss talked the other day. Nate Moss, Money Pop Podcast. That's our guy over here. You can catch him on A2D, usually on Wednesday nights with it. I love Nate. And he said, dude, like, I feel like, you know, like, what direction you going with A2D? We just had a good long talk. And he's like, dude, I feel like you should continue to be anti-big media. Like, you do a great job at it. Continue to rip big media. And I made a little comparison. I said, I don't want to compare this because it's terrible. I'm not trying to be this guy. But, like, look how much of a following. Look how much of a following the last president had by going after the big media. Just look at that. You know, I don't like what anything he did. I'm not trying to be him. I'm just making a point, like, attack, because people respect honesty. People respect you not having an agenda. People respect you keeping it real. That's not saying that a lot of these guys out there don't do a tremendous job. That's not saying that. Never. Like, I respect Marcus Hayes. I've been reading Marcus Hayes forever, right? There's guys I don't respect. I don't respect Jeff McLean. I don't respect some of these guys, ESP. I don't respect Joe Giglio, right? I don't respect Bathtub Boy, all right, on 94.1. I don't respect some of these guys. Anthony Gargano, because I love, right? So for every guy I don't like, there's guys that I grew up loving and respecting, right?
Yeah.
So you just try to call out the idiots and the guys that aren't fair, because a lot of this, all this stuff was started where? Was started with the media in this city driving it and driving it and driving it in bullshit reports and trying to run this guy out of town since 2017. So, you know what? I take it as an honor and wear a badge to say, you know what? I don't care. Like, I'll attack every one of you guys. If you don't want to talk to us, look what happened, Crow. Giglio says, I'll come on anytime you want. And that's on an attack mode. You know what I mean? I called the guy, I think I said the guy, guy never played a sport in his life. And he said, I'll come on anytime you want. So, I think it's fun to attack. It's good times.
And honestly, too, Tom, you go back and you're spot on, because when you really look back at the media, right, and you look at, unfortunately, when you look at some of these personalities who I don't even know how they have jobs because they don't know jack shit. And I'll call a name out. Angelo Cataldi is one of the dumbest fucking people I've ever seen in this city. Doesn't know his ass from his elbow.
Go back to being a Yankees fan, you loser.
Yeah,
you're from New York.
There's somebody in here who motivated and pushed people to throw fucking batteries at an athlete. That's the kind of shit they do because they want attention, right?
Yeah, the athlete did stink, but yes, you're right.
But to have batteries thrown at him, though, unacceptable.
Oh, here's Mr. Cardinal. I feel you. No.
Here we go. Batteries.
Stop.
No, but all the billing,
his claim to fame in the city has nothing to do with sports. You know what it is?
You're right.
Celebrating a losing culture by having a wing eating contest every year.
Yeah.
That was his fucking claim to fame. He's a fucking loser. And unfortunately, people like that get a following, and then they become the example of a lot of what we're seeing now, because you're right, the social media era has perpetuated it even more. And us here, we don't do that. There's no agendas here. We're going to give you an honest opinion. We're not going to bullshit anybody. We're going to take accountability when we're wrong on things. And one of the things that we do on this platform is we don't go on when we drop our media posts on Facebook and Instagram and all that, we don't drop speculative bullshit. And that's a big credit to you, because we don't want to be those people who are feeding and fueling the fire of that. We're going to talk about the facts of what we know, and we're going to give our opinions on that, and we want the family to give our opinions. And that's what makes us different.
Yeah,
and
I was wrong, Crum.
There's no agenda here.
Crum, I was wrong. We thought about admitting we were wrong. Like, I sat here and said I didn't think he was going to get traded. I thought about getting a tattoo on my ass. Well, a lot of that was because I didn't want to believe that these guys even had a source, or even had were even locked in, because there was so much stuff coming out. You're like, oh my God, I don't want to believe all this. This is a train wreck. You know what I mean? So you almost want to be anti-believing it and hoping that it's all just a lot of smoke without the fire. But as we found out, this building's been burning the fuck down.
And at this point, just let it all fucking burn. I want Lori to be the last
burn
one
it
there.
the fuck down.
Yeah. Where's the Emerald Fire gift when you need it?
Give it to everybody.
You think
how long we've been running? Don 2015.
6 piece, Don.
Coming up on 6 years.
Going strong.
6 years and growing.
I mean, hell, with these fucking teams, we always have fucking content to talk about. It's always something.
And it's always a train wreck.
Never said it was. It's never fucking. We had 1 year was fucking good. We were the talk of the town.
And even then,
February 2018.
even then, Pete, they didn't win by enough. They stink.
Right.
Defense gave up 500 yards to
They
Tom
lost
Brady.
by 2 points. I lost. They suck. That's the only criticism I have of, and I just realized it a couple of weeks ago. Philadelphia, they're smart, passionate fans, but sometimes they lack perspective on what's going on outside the world of Philadelphia. Carson Wentz doesn't stink. He had a bad year. And you're going to figure out how much he doesn't stink when you got 52% completion percentage, 9 fumbles, a noodle arm, 1 read and run quarterback next year that everyone thinks is the savior. I don't understand how any even somewhat educated football fan can sit here, look me in the face, say Jalen Hurts gives me a better chance to win.
Well, they can't. It's because you know this, Brinkman. It's the whole grass is always greener on the other side kind of thing. It's this quarterback he's messing up, so the other one's always going to be better. You know that.
You guys remember when Josh Adams was like the next Barry Sanders in this fucking city?
CB East.
Baby. Football game.
Corey Clement was supposed to be a superstar after the Super Bowl.
Oh my God, they scored. Let's go.
I'm behind.
Tie game, baby.
Sorry.
Briggs, you said something, and I had something off of that, and now I forget because they scored. But yeah.
Now Philly fans, they don't have perspective on what's going on outside Philadelphia.
There's no perspective. There's no feel. I've never seen a fan base love practice squad players as much as this fan base does. I've never seen a fan base love every draft pick like this fan base does. I've never seen a fan base be able to, draft a guy in the 7th round, and this fan base try to go look at his highlights and his tape and try to sell me on a guy in the 7th round like he's going to be a starter. And it's just there really is the passion and all that I love, but and this is every fan base. The more you scroll on other teams' social platforms, right? There's a lot of idiots that have no feel for sports, and they're just passionate junkies that love it, and that's where we're at. You know what I mean? And I've learned to just try to tune out half of these guys because anybody that blames Carson Wentz was sacked 50+ times last year. You know how many times he was sacked in 2017? Twice. Okay. You know how many times he's gonna be sacked next year in Indy? Probably 10 tops because they have a damn good offensive line.
That's what I want to bring up. I saw this stat, and I don't know how accurate it is, if this is the exact number, but it's in the ballpark of, they had 50. Hey, Cassian! ATG debut.
All right, now go get your baby Chucks.
We bring him up the right way. You know what I mean? They got to hear it. He's got to listen. You don't even got to be on camera. He's got to sit in the lap and listen a little bit.
I gotta get one of those things.
Oh Lord!
Yo,
find me a baby mama.
Real quick, I hate to
get Crumb a baby. We'll do a show.
But guys, I never told you. There you go. I never told you guys about the one Sunday night when Chrome drunk called me from the nearby bar, and he left me a voice message, and he was like, it was about him I need a ride. I need to, I don't have a ride home. I'm thinking about walking home. And then another voice message, he was like, yo, when I get my second shot, can I see the bud? Because I love the hair. I love all the smiles and the laughs. I just want to see the bud. Can I see the bud? And Mary and I are sitting there what's going on?
How long was this voicemail?
It was the one voice text was a good over a minute long, and then his one about wanting to see Grayson was about 30 seconds long.
It was two separate ones. He called you on 2 separate occasions and let it go to voicemail.
It was hilarious. That was a fun night.
I mean, think about what this guy's been born into. I mean, he was born into an 0-3 Sixers, finished off a road trip. He finally got his first Philadelphia win last night with the Sixers, and now today he's dealing with the franchise quarterback getting traded, and might not be winning. You might have to be 20 years old before you get it up. You know what I mean? You might be waiting a long time, dude.
Let him get through this. Let those two get through the catastrophe that.
Yeah, they can't remember.
By the time they're old enough, maybe we'll. They won't have to go through the pain.
Let's hope.
And hey,
for me yelling.
Ricky, you never know, Ricky. I mean, who knows? I mean, I might have to wait the 9-month period to get it, but who knows?
Oh, come on, Crumb. We could do a whole show on Get Crumb a Baby.
There it
And
is.
there'll be some ladies that are going to be dying to just say,
Yeah.
hey, leave her in for a minute. Let her see how it feels. You know
we can make a contest. We should have a contest.
A contest.
Yeah.
I'm not saying no. Not saying
Yeah.
no.
Find
Get
Chrome,
Chrome a baby
mama. And then we'll have a panel. They'll have to submit their resumes on why they would be a good baby mama. And a panel of us, say 3, 5, maybe 7 of us. So we'll do like an A2D, The Bachelor kind of thing.
I love that
I can get my Chuck Woolery
you went
on,
from 3
yo.
to 7 real quick on that.
35, 9.
I could definitely get my little Chuck Woolery on real quick. Little love connection type shit.
Let's go. Wait. We didn't say anything about love. We didn't say anything about love. We're talking babies.
I mean, love the baby.
You just want a kid.
You gotta love the kid.
Of course.
No. You want
I
the
love that
kid.
one.
You don't want. I get it.
No, of course I want to find a nice woman and have a family. Of course I do.
Now the question is, would you make him be a Cardinals fan?
Oh boy. Oh yes. I wouldn't make my child be anything. I'll let them be a fan of whoever they want to be a fan of.
Yeah, there's a dictatorship here.
That's all well and good till they say, "Daddy, I like the Dallas Cowboys."
Smartest
You better shut that fuck
thing
down.
Tom's ever said.
I already told Mary that Grayson's not allowed to bring home a girl that's a Cowboys fan.
Damn.
No way.
Don't bring that up to Crow. Don't do this. Don't do
No,
it.
No way.
Don't you deprive that child of that honor. There's a great end of that you're not considering. There's a really wonderful aspect of that you're not considering, and it's the aggression at the end of the night.
Chrome, is it called ruthless aggression?
It is ruthless aggression at the end of the night. There's a lot to get out and a lot to enjoy out of that.
I would date a Cowboy.
Good.
I would date a Cowboys fan if they were from Texas.
That's what my wife is. I gave her the slide because of that reason. She's from San Antonio.
My roommate in college, one of them. He was from Austin, Dallas, Texas. One of them. He was a Cowboys fan.
Yeah,
that's fine. You're cool.
I am a big fan of dating women who are fans of teams in the division of opposite teams. I'm a big fan.
I'll date in New York. I'll date in you root for the Giants. That's fine. I'll bring you home. Meet mom, dad. We'll have a couple drinks. We'll have a good time. If you're a Cowboys fan and you're not from Dallas, Texas, you're dead to me. I don't care how hot you are. I don't care how good a person you are. I don't care. It's
probably
not
all care about those things.
I can tell Giants. Giants
Care
fan-
about what?
How
I can't
hot
do
they
it.
are, how nice they are.
No, not a Cowboys fan. Does that mean that means if she's a Cowboys fan from Northeast Philly, that means she's evil on the inside and you should run.
But you go to her like this, man.
Well,
It's like when the Jabrones call on the
best believe at
radio
the end
and
of
be
the
like,
night,
"Yeah, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. Oh, hey, where are you from? West Philly."
Well, best believe at the end of the
don't care.
night, she's going to be getting an
Red
exorcism
flag.
from this guy.
Imagine
There's plenty of Eagles fans that you could, or Cardinals fans, or just not Cowboys fans that you could be.
Just anything fans other
Yeah.
than Cowboys.
Find a nice wrestling girl. There you go. That's probably the best idea I've ever had.
Stephen Pace. Good evening from
Yeah,
Denver,
get you a
Colorado.
nice
ATD
wrestling girl.
941 Angela on the Espresso Sports outlets that feed off the negative energy of Philadelphia A2D. I love it. The program is legit. I love how you speak the truth. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate you out there in
Because
Denver.
what the dial is, because like 94-1, they'll never go all out assault on the Eagles. You want to know why? Because they air the games. The 97.5, they'll never go on an all-out assault against the Flyers or the Sixers. They won't, because they have the games. And if they do trash them, the management and the PR people of those teams are going to call up and be like, what the fuck? Why are you taking shots? And I know it's fact. It's fact. So I've worked at those stations before, and it's fact. That's exactly what happens. That's why it's fake and it's agenda-based. It's CBS-driven nonsense from 94.1. It's Beasley Media nonsense. I don't even know what their claim to fame is besides being a media conglomerate that changes hosts every 5 seconds and always loses to the other guy anyway. So, like, it's nonsense. The dial's nonsense. Stick here, Stephen Pace. Made a good choice.
I couldn't even. There's nothing I could even contribute to that, Rob, that could say it any better. That was so perfectly and eloquently stated there.
Yep.
So
now we got to find you a wrestling girl.
There it is.
Find you a wrestling girl. You watch the.
That's been fine. I mean, I've never had a problem with that. Even if they don't watch it, they'll watch it with me. Never a problem with that. Put a couple grapple holds on at the end of the day. I got a lot of plans for after hours. Believe me.
You are a plethora of. I've been taking notes over here on the last 5 minutes on your after hours.
This is the one segment where notes are acceptable. Absolutely. Gentlemen, we're winding down on time. We got 4 minutes left. Anything good for the cause before we wrap this bad boy up?
Just stay safe out there, man. Stay sane. Just between the pandemic and the Eagles doing this bullshit, it can be easy to lose oneself.
And another damn snowstorm.
Yeah.
Another.
This weather is fucking ridiculous.
Saw the grass for 2 days, and that was it.
Yeah. Nia Jax is available, Chrome.
I'm good.
Nia Jax.
Her hole, man.
I'll pass.
Her hole. Remember?
That's Ralphie's girl. That's Ralphie's girl. Ralphie is all about it.
Oh my God.
Don 19 asked, would anybody date Ralphie because he's a bronzexual? I'm a bronzexual. I love me some LeBron.
I just wish Bron would just get the hair transplant, or get a lace or something.
Like some Rogaine
hair.
Dr. Bosley.
Yeah, but it's been so long now. It's like his thing. Like, can't change it now.
Andy dropping in this very ring prediction bow is dropping Friday. SmackDown ends. Also, Ritz vs. Butters Challenge dropping. I guess I'll shamelessly plug too. We got Candice Michelle coming on this week for all you WWE / Playboy / GoDaddy Girl fans. She's coming on Tuesday night here on A2D Radio to have an hour conversation with us. So we're looking forward to having her as well. That's exciting. Tomorrow, Fan Friday. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure a lot of people are going to want. And for all you guys who are following us now, right? This is your first time watching because there's a lot of people still on YouTube and Facebook. This is your chance to come on the show. Fan Fridays. Yes. They give you an opportunity. You DM A2D, and they'll tell you how to do it tomorrow night. And you can hop on for 5 to 10 minutes with the crew and on air have your say regarding everything that's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. So
if you want to get bent over around your wife, come on Friday night.
I'm about to say you got to give them the disclaimer because ain't no punches thrown on Fan Friday.
Yeah,
no punches is held back. You say some dumb shit, you gonna get that wrath.
And keep the sensitivity at home because it's nothing personal.
We have a ton of fun though. We've had a lot of great guests. Yeah, a lot of great fans have called in and joined us. Ton of fun.
Yeah, I mean, tons of shows. And again, Rob, appreciate Rob jumping on. Rob from doing the Sports Hounds on Monday nights. That's always a good time with him and Brad. Obviously, Brian on the back end doing the 1s and 2s, and him with the fix and AM and the PM fusion. Big Dad's usually all over, and I'm sure we'll see Dad maybe tomorrow. I know we'll probably see you Sunday for Agree to Disagree.
Yeah, unless I gotta get my face cut off. Yeah, I plan on being.
What's wrong with your mouth? What'd you do?
Is it an abscess or something?
It really looks like you're like dipping.
Yeah, like all this side's like it's like really puffy. I don't know.
Penicillin, brother.
I got antibiotics. So I've been taking antibiotics. But it's funny because I had it here just in case because I had like a bad tooth up here, and so what I did is I just been Listerine for like the last couple weeks, and I was like, you know what, dude, I got to get a brush in there, even though I was scared to mess with my one tooth. And I got like a brush in there, and I think I might have like messed my gums up doing it. You know what I mean? Like been a little too aggressive. So it could be an AppSac, something like that, or who knows, dude.
Yeah, just double up on the antibiotics, bitch.
That's it. Pump them in your body.
And Pete, Don's extremely happy that he got quite a few bitches in from you this week. So
Hey, man, I try, man.
you were on a
Listen,
good stretch where you didn't have many. You went like 2 weeks. We gotta get one of those boards. It's been
Saving
this
them
many
up.
shows since Pete's had crowned some bitches.
Look at this dude. Now this dude's upset, right? Like he's upset now because of everything we're dealing with, right? Are you upset?
Listen,
look
I
at
mean-
all that hair, Cassie, and just
all that hair.
once you hit 25, you're not gonna have it.
Cassian.
He's going.
There he is.
Thank God you look like your mama,
There he
man.
is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You got a strong neck, a strong piece too. Strong neck
But
game here.
It's only one way up for him now with this team. You know what I mean? He won't remember none of this shit.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But a lot of you guys still watching. If you can, please like the videos, subscribe, follow us. All of our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope. We're on all the podcast platforms. So if you miss a show at night and you can only catch an audio version, you can subscribe to
Is that Titan,
iHeartRadio.
Tom?
Yeah, he's kissing him. You see him?
That was cute.
Oh, nice.
He loves kissing him. I thought he was gonna take his head off. I never saw it.
It was like a throwback to the time Chucks got pinned up against the wall and got kisses.
I still have the hole in my shirt to show.
That's what Titan was like.
All major platforms, guys. All the podcast platforms. Make sure you guys are following us, checking it out, all that good stuff. And thank you to our sponsors, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy. Again, Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. No appointment necessary. Check out the doc. Also, depression and drug issues right now, a major thing, addiction issues in this country. We're proud to support the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. So if you're in the South Jersey, Philadelphia area and you're looking for a place to reach out to, 856-651-8117. Whether it's for yourself, somebody you know who needs to have an outlet to reach out to and see what their options are to help them out. Wonderful place over there at the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. And again, bodycheckwellness.com. Our buddies over there, use the promo code A2D. It's going to get you 20% off. All natural stuff there. It's going to help you with your recovery, body, especially if you're a professional athlete or any kind of athlete out there. It's great for recovery. And whenever former Philadelphia Flyer Riley Cote joins the Hockey Happy Hour, which, by the way, comes at you at the top of the hour, joins the Hockey Happy Hour, they have a package that they have that you get 40% off during the show while Riley is on, or during the length of that show. So make sure you guys look out for those as well. But check out bodycheckwellness.com. Again, make sure you stay tuned. Hockey Happy Hour comes at you at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all you guys who joined us, all your comments, I had a blast with you guys. All your comments, follows, like we appreciate you. You guys are what drive us. Continue to come back and check us out. Lots to come. And for you puckheads, again, exit this video, get ready at 10 p.m. Set your alerts. It's when you're going to know when all shows go live here on a2dradio.com. So follow, subscribe, like, set alerts, and share this shit out to your buddies. For myself, Jeff, Chucks, Pete, Brinks, Big Dad over here, and Ryan Brother on the ones and twos. We appreciate you. Love you guys. Stay safe and take care of yourselves and your friends. Peace.
Peace.